mami yangu yata do ko
nyati mbonte mu APS leti ndemu APS leti APS Gambia le mu APS katun APS is 100% Gambian
bari nyati mo te ko furi mbala kentala ni ke nyati mbonte ni taba futu wala at least ya fonte ko APS min kullo balbiji imo fon fonya fon ka fonyo ko ibina do ibodo ko APS jam fane mo fana fonya nyati mbo yo min fo yenda sija ndanga moyro ko APS wallet isa ko do kino min tata fo wuli muan ime charge fenna wala nta sindi jam
ako nyati mbo nko ko kabo transuto kata wala fo wuli muan ite fenne dola womu zero file bitun kabo wo 20,000 la ka sele sal eke tamuna eke charge mun fa abuka fensi 1% da malam mati
wota yara gamen no be nyanta wala kana APS wala tele mobile ko ka ko do ki ibadi ngol
ya jele ni APS kabrin nan credit ko to bari min kum mayata be wala fa mo kas pawat ni suto be during suto be dibiding abe tema biti kol sonda ila APS mobile lo sika ni asika to ya safe da men ko fen ko atondi nawek ha ni oto je nyamen do tachi ama ni ama do abanta ila kas power isa hawasima ajibe free joriti je
oto mbade ngameno albe sito ulle fisiyata alnaleta APS wallet yela la mobile ko APS wallet nyaata doro barin ko do nim fata do so kon to
dañu be fo no le mol ñala jam nim fata do so kon ba fo le
basi ti jembita ndori gi sajede kadu sa APS 100% namuti
APS 100%
APS
Gambia 100%.
Looking for the perfect home away from home in the Gambia? Welcome to BC's Residence, your ideal short-stay apartment in the heart of Bundung. Whether you're visiting for business, pleasure, or an extended stay, BC's Residence offers you the comfort, convenience, and privacy you deserve. Enjoy spacious, well-appointed accommodations in a peaceful neighborhood just behind Nusrat High School. Our residence combines modern amenities with authentic Gambian hospitality, ensuring your stay is both comfortable and memorable. At BC's Residence, you are not just booking a room, you're finding your perfect base to explore all that the Gambia has to offer. Ready to book your stay? Contact us today. +220 941414 BC's Residence at gmail.com. BC's Residence, Bundung, behind Nusrat High School. Your comfort is our priority.
In today's digital world, connectivity is the backbone of progress. Gamtel stands at the center of the Gambia's network, proudly known as the carrier of carriers. We power connectivity by supporting mobile operators, internet service providers, businesses, and homes with reliable, high-performance infrastructure. Through our dark fiber and fiber leased line solutions, we provide dedicated, secure, and unlimited high-capacity connectivity, keeping networks stable and businesses running smoothly. Always on, always reliable. For organizations that demand performance, Gamtel delivers unlimited, scalable solutions designed for speed, security, and efficiency, supporting everything from daily operations to critical data transfer. We are also connecting homes and small businesses across the country With our unlimited broadband services, G-Fiber and ADSL2 Plus, we provide fast, reliable, and affordable internet for browsing, streaming, and working online without interruption. In today's flexible work environment, our VPN services allow teams to connect securely from anywhere, enabling seamless collaboration and productivity at all times. Supporting it all is our private cloud data center, offering secure, reliable, and scalable data storage for the growing digital needs of the Gambia. With nationwide coverage, dedicated support, and trusted infrastructure, Gamtel is connecting people, businesses, and networks across the country. Gamtel, creating a brighter future in communication. Call 1311 toll-free or 422-9979 or visit www.gamtel.gm to get connected.
Assalamu alaikum baringolu ngali konto ngali bismillah momorondi yalon ko ibe kerfatu jube kanyen temben na drong ba falale ala barka baki alkalla wato menta kabulan noma ninyi wato sita alladhi grand bantaba programme le mialon ko akanale arjuma mansola dunyo kan kanana jang ga kul kacha mialon ko abe dending banko la ko la fo politiko len fo ku koten dem bang nyul be mu kulati mialon ko nke kacha nyim programme to jang mbe alfal tentula bake mbe jayla men ya lonko wolle kela wato ta watini wati wato sifa bela nin talan say sita drong arjuma lungola e ka ko betuje e kanyim programme e ka jube men be siri nyim banko kan anin kata fo banko e bantala mba fole ya barka baba bake e ka tinnan kawni nyaada aka jamfa mol men ya lonko wolle be stal ki kanyen tembenna mbe tentula bake mbe jayla ninga tre ba jube kan mba fole fane ise stal ki ninga tra iba jube kanyen tembenna bawo akam makoy na do kulto men yalon ko nka wolle ke jang ninga te ba jube kan YouTube la nyen tembenna mba fole don yeta YouTube ye subscription mo free of charge lati bawo fengol be je men yalon ko nke bondi na YouTube channel mbuko ol bondi Facebook ko to jamba fala mo be drong yeta YouTube ye subscribe mbe mo be danila wala fanala kalkalam tandi ko bunda fula men yalon ko wolle nyim programme sembentu yandi ka fasa wolemu APS anin Gamtel APS tol keta bundalti bunda mialon ko ka kodoki anin ka kodota e ka mamma wole fannala Gambia banko kanjang nanata kodiki wala anin ka kodota nyontangon le muti sika mantere la kuro nyo saba mantra ila service wala lanno la karola badi mo le be bulba wala be bulba waranto kanun tole be bulu America kata fo Angleterre banko kan kata fo blato mi alon ko wala mu Europe banko ti taring ise kodo kino nan ila moliye jang ando isata wati sutun kono wato mi alon ko ite kolea ku sotla je akamunta do kulal fanan be bulu men yalon ko itimin nango diata ba ke nyendula nyento jeto na office be banko tonkon nano beto bari ab kilimbe keri mi alon ko mo be nyanta sotla ila bul kono telephone kono la wala mu APS wallet apoti nyimo ableti ab mi alonko aka fen jamale ke aka doku jamale ke service jamale be je mi alonko ni apoka ke adaba kono ise sino fo suto duta la ila cash power bang ise ni apota no memo ni APS wallet apoti ye cash power sang ite kanina fenna free of charge lemu kaspa nyin sandingo kola bari manda woto ise credit ko fanantano ya sanno using this APS app ñun bemu kulati miawlon ko APS ya samanale nan pour ka joko ise ko soniandi banko dimol ma mendu be nyim banko kan jang mba fale ya barka bake nyaato domandi albe la nomba jela screeno dumale bari fana bunda miawlon ko fane bulo nyim programme ko ka sembentu yandi ka fasa wole mu gamtalti nanata internet wala fannala ñomoy wolem bang ñon tangol le muti sika mantere fanana ko ni e bulo nyikandi mote bulo jindi nola nanata ka internet kallankew di internet o miawlon ko siki saka ko tije internet o miawlon ko ate sakila internet o miawlon ko atariata fanan gambia banko kanjang nal freda gamtel madron ibo service o didalla internet o a service o service sifa e laftala ni freda gamtel ma katela su kono lem ban fokata fo do ku bundal le to bang nyim banko kanjang gamtel a service o sifa be bulle andu mela ko la no fan wara andu mela ko seo fana wara wolemu ela service o nyin tariata internet o nyin akamunta atariata baba ke ni ba imuna fankala kontano ni seo drong e ka wala soto je mi fana tentu bake mi jay tumala menna ye bulodu nyim programme ko ka sembentu yandi ka fasa kalkalam tandi ko mena bayo kara drong wolemu kanfati creation ti nanata karalola Gambia banko kanjang nyontangol le mati na bulo nyikandi mota bulo jindinola karalola fannala musulalem bang fokata fo kela karalolem bang ni frata kamfati creation ma drong karalo sifa o sifa anyasi o nyaosia ni frata ma drong abe makolale ibe karalo kele ani nyala mialonko akallanke yata bake andum fanan anyi nyata andum mela ko lanno wara do kulal le babul men yalonko itiminna o diata ibulo tariata andu ibulo koyta lew ni yela karal fengo diala drong eta sulata la wato men na drong ni frata kan fatia wala of course abela bayo dilela ani nyala mialonko abete fengo sewala ibale min tole e felentin drong lato mialonko wole mo wulin kamma wala of course Johnson Hotel be daming ni frata je drong ibe kan fati jala bari due to public demand jamala kanindro la fannala kan fati felentin drong abe bitika kuto yele kan nyin tembenna blato mialon ko fan sambi ibeje lankena mala nyimbe nata membe dendin service kendo mialon ko akole di jama rahmanu la nyimbanko kanjang wayatin na fan jamala lafola kamala anin niajube fan public demand la karola anata pour ka bitika kuto ka yele blato mialon ko sambi ibeje lankena mala nal pareta ka kam fati commande telephone to drong alsa commande 5234379 5234379 karalo sifa na bulo nyikande nyimbanko kanjang mota jindi nola lami
well abarka bake sidi ka bi fanan kontanta Cameroon na jambari ngamra sa sidi fomba ke kan karambungo leti jande aka mandika kan sifal milfo ndol ngamra me karankande aning biosol fana me karanka na just fo ngalande ibo tara classes la sa abarka bake sidi mbe nako panelol konton mbe commencer lete fongola mbe talibo ani miliyalon ko ni katara jambi mantara jang MC Ablay anin bayo fanan be jiber lal fanan konton na miliyalon ko be banko kan anim banko e bantala ka fedoro ya continue ka style sen call support because janning election o tema conteno kenton be banko kan ba trail ka discourse jam bio kay de ngalong itele be fenko dundela kote ke mi mun jesoti bi famata la bakel de mi yalon ko ngalon kari saba kari nani to mi siata wodi so kontan bata bi fanan pour naitara platform kilin jang welcome
thank you so much talibo bismillah
baraka sidi ba fula juma mubarak alay mabe juma do faranto be jibir lal men yalon ko kan jibe be kontona baake men fanan ka wakili kana si jang na ko paneli solu kita laminti ba kontona atele kana jang ni bayo mantere jang bari bayo be tembo men do say nga jaay style do fa sa abe futu city ko le to say ka futu wol tilindi
mare kansilo
mare kansilo lo mare transport kansilo lo fara mate ba kontona baake wala rewe UDPD abaka kataka wole le baake so mba kontona mba tentula mba jaila MC fanan mobilize UMC mba fanan kontona baake
fanan bulo mudare baake
Ablaye Bojang fanan mu panel solti jang ba kontona baake me fa konto na ni la pare nyima ye même fo kam fati blo kunata bakere karloto so funding kelo me alon ka fo ko abe Gambia kono jang e afanan ka sembo boy nyin dinkiralto so wala tinandi wato dol fanan pour ketel fanan kumandi ni si jan ni kacha wato dol fanan yela experience nol fo kere fatu jang akumata bakere karlal fananu kanyo sembentu ya mol sal promote del fanan sal promote kulati me alon ka kumata bakere karl nyima ke nyake moy dron fundita dawda si maka mosroji so karlal le kono oto kam fati yemen fo molo mati me alon ko kabirim bubala wato jang atin molati me alon ko kerfatu aka jam fasale bake oto mba fula karlal fanani jam fasa
yes
be mol ko
be lola lamen mod nga lo dron ye nyinta kam fati la karlal no dron yes atle nyin karak ngal ya nyimbe senari nyameng kam fati le nyin no mba fula mobe dron ye futa kam fatima isa petronize no nyameng karalo ay jakali nyawnya ni frada je dron abe ma ko lele andun ko ngafu nyameng do kulal babulu miya lonko itimina o diata bake
sidi wala mto nyati yadu même mala ko fonti time frame o kumata la koto kandita wati ni kay ko ni wati kar janno wato be sila fonke ko la kafa apparatal na ina kama jang so mba konto namba tentula mba jayila bake via sol mbal fanam be konto na kal tentu kal jay bari ben na president konto na his excellency president Adama Barrow adina pati nyaton ko bi abe murumuru na banko to
ko Allah murumuru e kaman daraja de
ha bolo foka bari menje nyala e bojele nyala
wala mundi
avec Paul Menkeka ija wol jelal de wote bayla feren abe dulal kuray yolo fa ka be dulal bari bete mo min da be durate fo dulal ni mbal be konto na lun tambani fana ni ya fundindi biyo kende malum fa bu tam malile bang fa bu tam bugina fas wole bang fo Dakar ko le a parandi bang bara fana ya bi fana ya dunne kende bare butu nimmen lafta dro bentele kolla.
All right. Thank you so much. Baraka bake akamunta drong mbe tente na programu kono wole fe drong ko ngafu nyameng lokum kanana njande nka mosoto jamme ko naka kul kacha membe dendi bankola kola fo political mbang fo ku kote nembang naka ku jamale kacha kanal hakilo ba kan akamunta sibiti tambilala coalition 2026 well of course iye nyaton ko tombonde mi alon ko wolebe kelela flag biarati anda nata kemente wolem Talib Ahmed Bensouda but then akola la chocho wata bake akudia mo siata bake adaba kono fam mi alon ko aketa coalition la cha aketa coalition la chairman oti memu Mr. Yoram Baloti akamunta atenata ke moti mi alon ko amansong tombondro mi alon ko yawla ke Talib Ahmed Bensouda tumi jamal bi jemmen mi alon ko ay allegation jamal lefo media nyati lungola wo kamala nata kata pour que professor Mbalo ka soto nang the Grand Bantaba programme auto but then akamunta up to the last minute professor manna nsafo Mr. Mbalo manna show up follow until the start of the program maje follow nga kumandile akamem fo wala mu kanale but then nsafo 1 hour or 2 hours before the program fang nga kumandile akabinale but yet still maje follow bawo ni ajube nyin coalition kacha ay kumol fay menu kanton wala mu unite andu men tarta nyin kacha kono mi alon ko kabrin coalition since a start UMC kamenki wala mu kemo bojang aning well of course Nene Freda Gomesti nal hakilo ba kan deputy party leader fana mati nyaton ko mati unite ko memo ma Nene Freda Gomesti so kamala nyanta kumandi na pour kaje ko nga ko dol seneyandi waranto ay ko dol seneyandi membe nyi dendi nyi ko la bawo Nene fana be nyi kacha kono le kabin discussion no start allegation no menu fradi pro ina nan aya seneyandi but then up to the last minute he did not show up kabin nyi program of start la maje follow hand sign o kamala Nene nga ba dundila mi awlon ko bi mbatele kala na luntawti nabe ku jamal kacha la bawo Mr. Mbalo be jaw amantara jaw Nene fana mbe share sot lale bawo afana mbe nyin coalition 2026 kacha kono la kabirin kacha nyin damurata woto it will be fair enough pour ka jeko ka ifana na karo moy kol men yalon ko wolle fote la karola ngana ay fanal la moy me yalon ko wolle be mutari bulu ani men keta je fo toñale mbam faman ke toñati woto bi membo senian la jang waranto mem fanam be kumo fola wolle mun ne Freda Gomez from Unite bawo afanam be kacha konole nyin la nyin to jere fo kacha banda fo tombondiro keta ngania wolle nyamanu pour ani professeur be tarajang nyim programme to jabro up to the last minute manna Mr. Mbaloja manna show over wakamala mbe nene Freda Gomez dundila drum ani njama nyo konton nim pareta ngadum discussion kono membe dendi wala of course cool men ya lonko wolle keta sibit longa nene welcome bismillah.
Thank you very much, Sidi. Mbe jamamul be kontonna. Mba falaliko assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. And then Juma Mubarak to everybody. Hoping rakne mu be ajuma sotola ajuma beto sotola. And be panel sol be kontonna. Pamane be is laughing.
You tried.
You know, I learned from Sid. That's why, you know. But then I've not been on the Bantaba at least for some few weeks. Yeah. So my mandinka is a little bit slipping away. But Sid knows I'm on track.
Yeah,
I'm on track. And it's being polished,
no,
right?
Ninga started, sir. So continue. So you rewuton.
I know. So rewuton. I'm on this track.
Ako bueno.
But I'm a problem. Yeah. I'll get on. So I'm content rek ak mbekté pour ñëwaat fi ni benen aljuma pour waxtana askan bi. Say ni ma koy waxe say yu nek rek waxtaan bi fi du ne pour just show up rek la. Waxtaani réew la te jubluwaay bi mooy ne indi leerte indi été indi tamit jàngale si fànn boo xam ne pour jàngale kaay bi la du leneen lu mooy loolu and lépp rek pour yokkute ak jëm kanami réew mi ak askan bi lépp loo xam ne def nañ ko lu utee loolu rek na askan bi xam ne suñ matadi la ak ñàkk a xam la waaye jubluwaay bi lu rafet la kon di jaajëfal ñëpp ñi nga xam ne ñoo ñuy seetaan saa yu nekk di wax fan si ne nama naa leen lu baax dégga text yi on social media Facebook TikTok or even ñi nga xam ne am nañ suma number dañ di always text di laajte gisuñ la Grand Bantaba is everything okay mbaa yëpp yaa ngi si jaama so loolu wane ne dégga nit ñaa ngi ñoo bàyyi xel so ku ñëpp di bàyyi xel nag dafa am loo xam ne da nga koy moytu dafa am loo xam ne da nga koy bàyyi xel te always da ngaa try tamit pour def luy indi njëriñ ak yokkute lu soxal askan bi so am na solo lool because loolu tam daf ñooy ñaax ñun askan bi xam ne rek ñun ñooy bàyyi xel ci lépp lu ñuy def buñ ñu gisatee ñu xam ne nekkuñ fa buñ ñëwee ñu xam ne ñu ngi fa kon yéen a tax ñuy def lu ñuy def di nuyu panélistes yi Lamine suma broda nama naa ko lu bari moom tamit wax na dëgg gëj nañ fee tasee yéen a tax because also li gën a tax nga den it's like every week consistently maa ngi ñëw so dama meet everybody who comes but now that we're alternating so basically you know dina dee xaw a jafe tuuti pour ñuy tasee and all that waaye du dara it you know itee rek la ak jàpp bi ñëpp xam nañ ci time buñ toll nii jot amut fii ku fi am jot rek xamal ne yow nekkoo ci dara waaye I mean ñëpp war nañoo busy doing something yow di la jaajëfal you know yow mandinka moom masha Allah man wax naa la ma foog ne buuba dafa dégg sos waaye buuba déggut buuba dafa jàng yow laay léeg-léeg laaw non Sidi rek déedéet Talibo namo no Sidi is a star
Sidi malam faye muso soto fama soto bari amrambe fla muso la nyina wala surwa muso
Talibo ile telelto
no na kabe mandinka muso fanansi ndala mandinko be tambila mandin fam
I know exactly we have to dilute it a little bit
all right
but it's good and namo ite fana be bismillah la you know nge misle back bari yalo nte namo ngana jang man na jang ntol ka ñomoyle parce que ntol be ku jamale kono ntol ka ju ku jamale ke nka min fo nka minul telefula ya understand
yes, of course.
So di la jaajëfal rek Sidi hope ne rek dinañ am waxtaan bu neex but let me also add to what you said your guest you called several times you wouldn't pick you use a different number and he picked your call not knowing that you are the one so pour man that's a confirmation ne he's really not ready to come But again, you know what I mean. Why start a campaign that you've been so serious about and consistently doing, and at some point in time you chicken out?
All right.
Do you really mean to do what you started? You know? Affaire bi boko mënul rek bu ko commencé.
Thank you so much. Meduna kacha kono wele fe drong straight janning kana nene kang talibo ning lamin be topico ning be la opiniono dila la anila reactionolu nal hakilo ba kang akamunta sibit lungola wala of course coalition o mi alon ko edidi ya nyaton kayanu ma iye nyaton ko tombonne andum aketa menti wala mu Talib Ahmed Ben Souda mi alon ko atele mu unite la nyaton koti ya telo tombon pour ka joko kanyin coalition o nyin ka nyaton kaya nyinnata tumala menna consensus même mu teben kambe ngoti asodota ida mongol tema nyin la nyin to jeto kabiring anim professor sidat yafa consensus sotota ida mongol tema yafa nata bulay nyin la nyin to jeto well of course voting manake but then consensus sotota ida mongol tema wala teben kambe ngol sotota kabiring Talib Ahmed Ben Souda aketa moti mialon ko inara silo wala ngay pour kaje ko ayke 2026 coalition on nyin na nyaton koti because coalition kacha jamal lebe kering coalition jamal lebe kering bari tolbe fanna men na drong ma kamun wolebe news dominate kan kabiring sibit longola kibarol di tada kibar bunda konkon inuo fanale ka wuli but then kamunta ma chocho warta la ko fanan na bake bawo kamunta montoro wati dantan janning tombondirobe kela mialon ko wala mu APP sobe ya ila nyaton ko di Esa Mbay Fall aketa moti mialon ko anata kala candidate ka withdraw ka dabondi nyin coalition nyin fongo kono ay kuma jamal la foje nyin dula do in fact anata tumiro dendi unite kan nyin dula nyin to awo kola fang ngajele afinjata adiamuta ka itandi ko wala of course ko mialon ko wala mu ma Talib la brodati aning Talib kundi ngo fongo inata yale e sitale kajar andi me itandala wala mu sanji saba etol be nyun ko do ko ka woto ma etolte any results accept la woto me itandi wala mu coming Talib la nyaton kaya dorong so ate aje ko well of course wo mu kulati mialon ko e be la firin damma we nyaton kaya ako in fact ako UDP wolle fongo fisayata unite ba UDP ko le party led and was a keno any party you be mo kumalti mialon ko Esa Fall nata fo ma ala recent interview mialon ko ay wala soto mole different opinion so ala Carola dol ba fola UDP kamunta even they have been vindicated kuma ko mialon ko wala fo nyum coalition la Carola kabir muntuma bi wala nata fintinang achocho wala ba but then mba kachala jannin kana nene kan misamani
well abarka bake sidi ndenga mera ni manke ku kutoti banko kan koteke sain ba fla nyangole kono wala mu ka moto mo mimbe kala coalition la flag bearati through a candidate led selection because kumase tan Adama Barrow la the president now bari tarambulul ni yusta wodulalto the same module fanane discussed nying coalition kono CMC that at one point ni be agreed to come be independent led kala minimum flag bearalti be resignal from their parties ye law ye contest the negotiation over kala wala kono consensus be kala wala kono na be sotla voting fana bol kala wala kono na be sotola barinte maji ano I know komi ni CMC nyaton kolle bije milba samakam from the chairperson to the secretary to the spokesperson mansa feroje de kundimo media to kaje komi nyil milialon ko ilota pour ka flag bearer selection on nyinke resign te la parti to le pour ka ide ta election o eta consensus la mo kala muta bari ngalon ko 2016 Adama Barrow mimi alon ko United Democratic Party la candidate to lem as the flag bearer a resign tale ka ke moti mimbe contest la pour wo ni selection si fala fo ala nata menta bende anata tambije bari ntemo wodi jam komi maybe ko nene be molle kono mili alon ko ka parti represente asekeno so long fenke man nan the professor nying nene be odula ko ndila nata komi resignation o keda bari kule mi alon ko is very unfortunate sogora binka kuma sifal min moy to mi rolbe caring that inducement ol ketale anin tilingola karola process o nying nyul mu kuleti mi alon ko oppositional manyan na kala kuti nyante fondalen dira min because niete be man sakundale challenge ke lafla min bod ika kumul min folma ikete fongo jo process o nying kono to ndenga mera both parties nyanta fintilali fongo sinende back because be man sakundale nyini ka mi alon ko ni dunta ji ajende kala tilingo mi alon ko abe tala lenken marin kaytol lebal bari all these speculations around karele nying for still now man proof je, and we deserve to have a proof because we need to hold them to account. Because every political party, especially new full be to registered parties, mean they are parties of Gambian people. Gambian dingola party lem. Ibe ko kuna manya na kila nuodi. Anu ngamo professionally ako investigation on yanta probably into the allegations. So ntemalong jumalle be tax la to do that investigation, because you cannot also say investigation of Bakela and then the chairperson is the one saying that. Ndengamera, the chairperson should lead the investigation into cool mini alonke iketa the shenanigans in this process, so that banko be to ya long mini keri. Wosati na mola decision making financial sone bulokon. Mo kana taraje mi alonka oppositional fanan kono bar jiko bala mi alonka aji amanke jiko kendati. Bari ku wala sabanjango fanan esala dia mo kono la komi kabri tata ala suwo kono ye mune discuss wala mu maybe wo keta fo the very day of the selection neti ka foko flag bi ara ko ning deputy ni mimbe kala running mate so I was like running mate botana min tolto because tol man Gambia we don't know running mate ndol ngamil wala vice president denga mera, you know, you could have been direct to say, you know, vice president position, because you see this running mate fanamanke komi, it happens in other countries. Those countries, a running mate is automatically elected with the president. If the president is elected, akamundeta fanangila spot is elected with the president, you become the vice president until Nalbe Tula Tamo Banta Alia Boje. And Nibe Boleje, it becomes a process me along. You go through the National Assembly through an impeachment process. Come president or impeachment process Benjamin. So before being technical with words, you could say level of vice president positional. But in other wole be wole jamfa bondi tema. Woto community city nyulde UDP ye ming sumanun tolla it will man so wole be. Because even coalition wala beginning ngamwe nunje, because I am very close to the corridors of these things. Don't book at. But there was this notion that, you know, a powerful CLL before the election, but Nene will clarify these things. That, you know, Niatara B, UDP le tambita kake flag biarati, you know, vice president position, ministry of, all these ministries, it be demarcate lele, and then every party will have something to hold on to. As, you know, a bargaining chip, you know, in case Nambitala win, new win, you know what you have. These are things many alonko, nke moino. So, ning, Naranga manke problem for just vice president, then we know there is something bigger than vice president ko ni president ko. And coming denga ni nene fo di amoni kumasino, then we will see, because I've been jele and then now their party is involved, we will see as to be diamula ko la nyami. But so long told scientifically we have our own coalition to discuss, we have our own coalition to take care of on Friday. Mbe talibo bulala ina and then nene diamuta and we have time.
Okay, janin talibo kanana ngajele esala diamu kono. Ko kabiri nyun na taya. Meita ndala wala mu sanji saba itolbe nyun ko do kuka. And in fact I mean allegedly ako sanji saba nyulbe nyun yule mempa wala mu itole fenjamale invest nyun koro. So itolde any other results tala. Member dendi nyukola ayole allege and then another foko atola patio memu UDP is in fact wolle fon officiata nyulte because wolle meita ni wolle mu party led but that party led can be any party nye mune firing
well nye min firim bi esa nyi min foten ko min nyulbe 3 years ago nyi manke kuti mimu news ti koteke. Because nyim fota banko betu kanne hanin na former campaign manager sabali bota nyim fola le party member ka fole mo be ba nyim fokan but hanin ngadi ba fonla audio lamwel ako an ngalo ne wolbe mutari be bulo kon at one point kabri be party kono yaje ko mi talib sake no potential showcase to the party so kabri yo suite it all fanan as politicians they start to play their card so that when the time reaches, you know, it's like a multi-million they will have an edge. Wo manke sanji kilin doku ta manke sanji fula doku sanji saba doku o biyon andu yole fo esa faneja anu nyinne fananka fo UDP kono nyinne fananka fo in the public domain so kule mi alon ko saying we are vindicated that tonyalem at one point tali fananala mol be fongo sumanka no so that nim presidential position of UDP prior ayata and worked in a way that afanange molle soto milba ko me bodo ko keka but hani resignation on nyingajele some of those people later can be inabe dokol but coming to ka foko mi UDP la position ndenga mera that's also unfortunate from ESA because ntolnga ESA approach like any other party yani mbital nyin coalition this is just the last coalition out of the three nyim party be to approach tal even at party level, individual level, kaje ko min nibe do ko kele no nyame. E monso wala wala mfutane nyin coalition on. Anun coalition of an kabrim futata nunji ngana position of an make that lafla party led. Akwa malafi party led, alafla independent led. So saying at alone no komi even with party led those atambino. Anun dolfana ma wo fanam for that. Because tolko even with party led, numbers lebe mbulo kono CD, na numbers ngole argue no. Na numbers of representation, na 2021 electoral numbers, the numbers of councillorship, the numbers of National Assembly. These are the numbers that we are arguing that Nimbita party led we should lead. So SIA banyul be tulare. So nika min fojambi ninga atra ayo kumo kongole for koteke. Then tenga miracle there is serious things milia lonko mo nyanta ke scrutinize esa la kuma kangol nyulto. Ntema la wala. Kumika for UDP minke no party do sa tambino. And then atiaje komi wole fon fisiata nyulti ini molta tarla no ku kilim fona betu tinyade ne fon bonni kayita la dolka Esa was in this process until the 11th hour. This same Esa was saying people that the coronation okay obetu mala kuma kan wole pija so ete titala no any nyul kandelebi come in the last program on coming forward nyin kamun tell ko people are working in cahoot against UDP not nyata be they want to show other colors mama kande take a position that Atefanam be candidate led laka. Ngaje mama candidate hata president ka. Esa took a position that aba candidate led called. Be niko akabe party led from beneficial and so I'm confused as an individual. Mala mean word. And United Fanam party led called. The contradiction in this is that nyul manya na sonna ni movement ole se anya confused. Anun tolngo argue. Political parties are registered entities. There is legitimacy to being a political party in this country. It's in the Constitution, Section 60. Political party la cool discourse ta wodulal. So what a mul manya na political party ni movement or kandila jang with Gambian notion that kafo mole bebe normal. No. Civil societies are there, NGOs are there, political parties are there. All these things, mina ne name sol deal. It's because of ile do cool fatatale. Ni ko movement mo ika momo ya kafo fo musol la kafo. Musol ka susu kafo milla o manke political kafoti. Ni most of mona football team manke kafoti. But walla intention and ambition is to play football and win matches. So milla intention and ambition is to capture political powers are the politicians. So kafol le siyasa ke nyawonya manye na kafol confuse as to ibetu mo political entity led. Movement wala siya nyindulal to wole nyul batande ila nyin candidate led kono to the point that compromise sota dulal betu. Komi Professor Yafojan and if Nene is going to work on that allegation, she will have the chance that at one point Hanika Venuel Min Fongol use United leader Talib Leke sponsor. So what Akamunta they were not even fit from the jet go Purkatara Wodulal. These are serious allegations many alonko. United should come out, SR should come out, Professor should come out because Professor also have a CI in this because chairman ole matuko nyunkon. Nta mol bulal no ye doku ka no sambe be banku nyino la kula min yalonko anim marallo min be kerim bimbe wole laka.
If a chairman rejects a candidate selection, why munefering?
Well, ning chairman no candidate selection or reject, that means that atefonko nullified.
Yeah.
So now nullified, that means that amanya na tamal. Because yalong even secretariat nyanta safi.
But at the time the chairman is calling for a nullification of an outcome of a process. Was the chairman at the time? So was he mandated at the time?
Processor nyingole faitending. Processor was just a child play. Chairman Kabra Bokan gentleman, yala deputy chairman. Do you know the deputy chairman? Public man deputy chairman. Because ni chairman o TJ, deputy legenda replace. Deputy TJ. Secretariat, the secretary should be able to process. Hani nyimfen kol min betu ketatente say negotiation min beker. The secretary should be able to write these things in detail so that public ba consume lenyam. But now it is up to political parties to come and defend themselves as to in negotiation or Kenya. But this should be in written format where the secretary through the signature of the chairman can authenticate. But right now there is no signature of the chairman to authenticate, or there is no endorsement via a Diamo statement to endorse or authenticate. So I don't know, but from all indications, there's a serious flaw in this selection process. So from my view, I cannot see Talib now as the flag bearer of this coalition.
Molbe me jama be men criticize kan ko ñim process ñim manta ko jama be men fokan jama be men alej kan ngajele few minutes janning announcement o kake men be den selection o na iye men tombong mon tro wati dantan ngajele former vice president Tambajang atata visibly looking unhappy afindita je konkularo manka nyala. In fact, even Mr. Mbalo, I was on the ground. I was there. Janning kankularo fon kake kafo ko talib lem atele select Mbalo fon mantara je wat minute dantan kon. Because janni biri bita kan konton la. Mbalo was there. Mbalo binu jele. Kabini meeting was start around 12 ma fam meeting was start fo janni ba fa talan saba talan nani Mbalo be jele 4 wato min kankularo kana ke wato la. He was nowhere to be seen. Ndafon nyamaje. In fact, me video jube talibla diamo be menu bebe akoma je menu bebe je Mbalo was not there. So fanya itan dila ko mulbe allegation men ke kan nyin kwale sono la karola. Fanya itan diko ko allegation are true.
So Mbalo le failed to do his responsibilities. Because cabinet committee fon ya je Mbalo be boka nu to akamunda Mbalo be nu event nyin tole until the 11th hour.
Yes.
Afintida. Woto dalilo le Mbalo findindi and what dalilo happened that very day because ni wonte Mbalo manta nyenna tala wodulato natara komi Mbalo yala decision make that the process is flawed and then mol komi esaka fonya inducement ketala nin kodo betu ket o de salo Mbalo te tala wodulato dalila jumale Mbalo bondi wolungo wodulato as the chairman kabri Mbalo findita now that should be the first statement anyanta min kala with the media nama keno with the media oto Mbalo nyanta savela la kala handle so that we know mune Mbalo come fandi but still now Mbalo is relying on hearsay iko movement olko oto esa ko inducement ole keta oto ikajan bara ate fongola dalilo mi hatina wolungo ate move out from that hall wole nyante kala kuti mo nyanta Mbalo nyen kala me because mole mi mu chairman anu process on metale for how many months it can move out no something you mean develop until the 11th hour you move without an explanation but you are still working on the hearsays so womun tell concern and Mbalo's phone nyentate own narration or deal our own fair share of this narration history min keta process kono so that we know nyinne keta je but coming up for nyaming science tending there is no blessing to Talib's selection.
Finally, on that part, if men foka wole mo dolba foka the coalition is dead.
If I may add, there is no blessing from whom?
From the chairman or the secretary, because it needs to be authenticated by somebody.
Okay, so drongana.
Okay,
dolbe men foka wole mo coalition on from it should not be considered as coalition because near jube iko esa la withdrawal oje ala bondo oje we toning aya lamfundele. Right now, Unite are the only registered political party. Nyeng coalition okono. Tomal menu beje eko men foka won mu kafol leti waranto CSO leti men yanko mo melon fam mol menu be koma fam mol melon. So akamunta esala bondoji ay coalition o nyin to nyin lamfundele. Ila jero to yaje nyaadile right now Unite as the only registered political party nana ta nyin coalition.
Well, ya fanya ming a lamfundele but to some extent coalition o mutu abword leti anu coalition o this thing is still a coalition. To have coalition. Ninka for later for a specific purpose. It be coalition kane purka wodoko. So it's still a coalition. But the authenticity of the coalition on ning atarambulu kete nyadil. Nyaton kole bala. The chairman will be coalition. And at any point nin chairman will be kula pura akwe validate no. Aike kuti min nin silo tata. Aike kuti monyente min jibele la komi kule min nyente kela. Chairmanu nyentala blessing dila lankola fotende so nin chairmanu mala blessing the process on nyenna then Talib for the meantime should step aside ning investigation o keta nyun kool kono fa be too clear then they can make a final selection of the candidate wonyanta kala investigation o nyenta kala nyun kool kono le sidi so that the chairman nyenta lon nel committee nyato nya kumanke nyun kono then we can go ahead with it but ni waketa from my point of view is that this coalition is not blessed by the leadership that was mandated pour kaje kanyin ko nyin tamande andun bi gamben dingol be ke la moy tollel professor lemo aning the other guy the PRO Martin and their secretary mo be la moy kanyol yo so bi nim man safer je ka authenticate that this coalition process is free, fair and credible or akamunta the Gambian people have still doubts and will nyenta clearly before Talib will be announced.
August 17, it will be a comprehensive report of for findings or many physics or many along with
coalition
yes.
on
the 17th.
On the 17th.
According to
so then Talib should step aside for the meantime. Ninul be together so that there is no room for speculation, there is no room for skepticism, there is no room for accusation. Then New will be too clearer. Then it's a fresh process. But science intending, I think it's not even good for Atefongola character that all these things are going on and he still want to move on to lead that particular coalition. Mia Lonko, there is no leader that bless the coalition. Tell me the road.
All right, thank you. Talibu?
Yes, Abarakabake Sidi. It's unfortunate that me menna ko kachakang ati mantari jam. Me kita Mr. Mbaloti. Yalo ni ba fola bun mallo kunke buna mason wala la kapinta. No fon be sirin jannu. Tar num bulo ko jenkete dame wala kankara on jenkete dame. Abe kuma fono la jene. Yo at the moment ne le bijang wolle gagneta. Yolle kumandi kafo wolle gagneta. So nati ata sata wotumo salon kafo ko isa munefo itel fanana side of the story be nyaadile then Mr. Mbalo nul fanani nga kuna ngala kachamu kunun krefaru nga dumande umentaje be la fla kachala wala
yeah
yo bare Mr. Mbalo follow nte akila timma baliya fon fayle jang nyin krefatu jang yite fon hakilo bakan kabla nata jang wotumo manta dawo dandi Bria stade dron anata jang kay ko ite be kala moti me alon ka fo ko pour kanyin kul deda ite ta nola nkaltel min la setup moy ko atel ba ko nyaton kay kan atel ta nola yo yalo nyimu politiko lati adu be politicien de ka fo kan nyoma pour ka keloke ka falindiroke morke ba hani moto ni mano ibuka sambano moto imano ibuka sambano ni journaliste ya ni ma karan ita sambano la politiko fone be tar la politiko kono kudendeng mol ye long kili la political party long bari ka fo dron a ndefana nga dumanden karanne wala nga fembale karan o matinandi qualified ka politiko ke intellectual ol bi janne man fel non politiko kono
karanal
ha atama ndir nyaaw ke nyaaw imano mol bi jam men yalon koy man ta karam moto ka politiko ka sina chat ni sita kila katul play e politiko sama andu gambia bi wala fon siata karam balo dunda politiko kono ka political experience soto dina intellectual olti wala siata na politicien kono so mbalo fulo ala nyaton ka ma fa atama ndir nya amano because ko duta nyawnya ni nkame moy ntulo la jang ntetiye bare nkame moy ite ko ibije kol ma hanta dawo dan dim fulo ate kol mambang ate fa nyala kol nyanta banna nyala la duta nyawnya
kankularo dam mala mankanya
ha this is it adwa nyanta kum fala isa da safu mole na kum faro to nyin nekita na yofo ibayala mol balu na la kafu ko kol problème mol startamin do le bari ite fon folo ite me mo refalite football o man o vayte nyal ini la feta mutar say jomale penalty ke jomam penalty ke molo na nyari joy gol jolle sko mol bolo na nyadi imagine election man nake tata sile ka kacha kabla nyoy so ne atata ko molo mati me alon ka fuka ala do ko no hani isa fa man nyana kana lama hani isa fa man nyana kana la ama a nyanda fen sot la isa la koto me yalon ka fuko abasat la mole a nyanda ku sot la talibe la koto me yalon ka sa saro bawo nyi lemu pati floti me yalon ka fuko ngalon ko iriji satar jang yo bare sidati ya fa non lawo pati yol ni ko koto nana me la rali ji jang nana ma kuma moy la koto andi tata iriji satar la bare ndel me la ko long kaje mitun ke blato motol fo continue la ka fuko e pati lomuite me yalon ka fuko ngi soudé la jang so ni atar ko mbalo yala do ko no taranu ni diamo dol biji ata kilindron assassinande no molma kan dande mol la ko nyilebe kering kabrin starting fo ending nyilebe kering bari ma data fon starta su 2 mirol kala car nous le ko do le use car nous le mol le sam You understand? So say, birate ku kese ndodo ya sanje mala bulo ko nati nyanto fono lale because ni ndek ko bi la min mane sandiro lake aya sandamen nti nyanto lo nale kodi anyanto sinan la mol male ikana dan tumiro da mato ka foko kare sandiro ke bara atle asan sanje mala bulo that's the evidence so akamunda ko mbalo alafta gambian ko jakase lale nim ko ala son koto bara gambian ko la nyande fam bondi law jakaso ni kaje ko nyum manda nyama bira lodula amanta nyama ataman nyama manta nyama imaje problem mo kete je hanni atre ko ye mo announce ka foko karle mun na nyato gagneta bari butum bete momento sa endu problem mo kete je already andu ni politiko kono inata jibe nyasi yo nyama isi fe ofendem fo ni ko man ni ko talbe la nyaton kaya aman sahaya bake ko ale sono ni na nyaton kaya ibolo ni ko fanan asahata ibolo because abele dunta nyoko so ka abo nyoto atele nyanda nala sila nu jang istambalo biraye kamudi tela ko e minal adan ali in the morning nte maji ni atar ko nte do ko ke do ko senata nte ma mola je membo baylante bulu ngata because itele mo mollete men ko president man do ko no satel men lafta president konti bola ite fam monter parir priori ite fam imane ke president de folo president men nyande que le president di wo do ko fam wala ite ro man sakunda kono wo do ko fam ite fam mo no folo est-ce que ninga na man sakunda di nyilla tombo ndir nyaka ministre fam tombo o be ke no la nyadi mo fon sina se kodo ta ministère ya sang ngam ni jang ila ni seto na ya talbe su tumi ko talbe yi sandi rolake ate yolo ate munyato kote ate mo fo je ay silo muta tata yalo bem do ko nyo bal yalti woto ni man sa kundata mun be kala woto mo si place san no jele mo si ministère ya san jele mo si permanent secretary ya san no jele mo si chef ya san no jele mo si alkali ya san no jele
talibo ye sala kuma kan moyle kabirin ay statement no mendi ground auto je ani wo kolala ay video men bondi abe diamu kan kuma kan be me alon ko ay wala fo nimmo bala kuma kan firina wala mu kamunta sabe men fo kan dron nyin ko ale sono nyin ko talib ñol la moliye menje wala nin talib den mo kotenten yenyi jeno nyaadi de because nga jele parti kote ne tarta nyin dulato mi alon ko itol ko parti led nyin dol man so wala i botaje do you think men ko parti led are vindicated
yalo coming isa as a politician nte kam menje akatria jagasela
esa
Gabriel last presidential election nomination day fon isa trompeta
amoneta
a trompeta ako MPP motol bele luas ni banko kanjang ama moto soto men sala mol samba bar mole tabulu bar comme ngam fo dro ngaranta o matina ni mol ye lonne nana tarta place dole to mol karanjibe o matina ni mol ye tros soto to le procureur ke nyaton koti nyaton ga fana nala kollem anin daji kollem men bitano so nyine anene adunda politiko kono ni be duna politiko kono nenere ko o dabe bond la jele ibina le ya nyas fo ibela na fulo bond la ba because politiko ni na fulo kata ni moy na fulo bondi abala ko de dakan kana mun dako wo mutole yalati wala wo mu sangonati hani be ibela politiko la de dakan ate fam fana ko do bond la adi molla ay ko do bond la de pensi politiko kono because anin kuru kense bukata aka motol luasile ka fo mola nangata aka t-shirtol print la ka di molla aka stageol dada aka mitnol kije aka kodo di ya company dol la wol kabo je kana la patio kono isi mitum organizer fo be carte fo la fo te carte fo o keda si isa fa la janne so nin tata nyin blanto abe nyin kuma kan men fo kan ndelte la no wala because muna mu wolom nyindi ko ate nyantal lola lay ay evidence ñi bondi Sede Jaro fo ko talbe noli e ñindi nek yo banna ko ke UDP le fisamante ata talbe non la kori ida abe molle nene ka hukumoti no nene kumola moti fo biringa bita ja malon ka foko UDP mu political party wala alon ko isa fana United fana mu political party wala bara ñi choy soto ka bo ñi fanna do la kana ñi fanna do to ay mun jikle soto ji ndefere maybe fa ba fala ko bawo nana lota carte fa wala jam talbi non nana man lo carte fa wala odo mbeta chance no la jele dina kata UDP fana na ma fa wala because wol lollon da jande andum mo jama be bulle so abe carte abe men carte kan don wala ñinde am fana be opportunity soto no la dame bara na taje wo jele candidat kata mi la get
Talibu
so na ka be murula la ka fo la do ko da be kande na ta fo jele fon sumata jadde e fi salto ko mo fo ka wote politiko ko
afisaltal
isa fal saltal partout andu même bi je wala ñinti ko yake ala na la kilay yeda ha politiko la because même bi je abina kila ba ko ton feñolati ite siyo bayno la te juo sukino la bar fo nga fo drum ko itam political party wala yeda bon ni politiko ko no ni bi da political balto ye kafu je ye political play
Talibu ngana nan say ñi kwali soro dolbe mem foka wolem akamunta say to drone be ji mondo le be fudiri bulu ji mondo do mobu ko mutano ye ñi kwali soro ya nyaaje nyaadile
ndewo ke ngaaje nyame be ñone ne wala say ndolon ngana alliance kele already abe mbulo ko nte ndani yamar la fam nde fem fole la koto comme ibe nyame ya wadro ni ben dakanto men do ngada pour
no ñun do ben dakan la yele sélection kala
ha yo say ngada carte fa
ye la sembo je nyaadi menu be menu ba kono
okay sidat ya fa me alon ko wala bula talbe na nga audio bonda kamale fam ngo wol nata la drop
e audio bondi juma
sidat
namu ye wokele because muna nandi ngake ako ay palaso bula talbe abol kono ati mo manding quality talbe ba ma manding quality tribal sentiment nata je andum jang ina na yeblo chodintel la parti wala ko dolu ya tribalist sidi njay diamu ta jang ay kumale fo yake tanoti eko tribal sentiment lo c'est ko mbalo ya fo na parti wodi non eko tribal sentiment lo TikTok asol yake civil society organization no ipe ya condemn bari si dal la ñing kuma kam mo nana mo condemn fo usen dabo manke mandin goti abana fa muna na malla walka suway du fo baro manke mandin goti natro wol layno lo mo bondi je mo tribalism lati so wo men tandi wala mu ko ñini metaram bulolo hani bita kam fam billahi wallahi hanni talbe le tamindi bita kam ibita la nyaatu dumandi itol fon wo kafo nyum kono ibe jila dumale muna be kala ku yala be kala mar fo campagne stade
okay
ibe ñoo jolonna.
Thank you, Talibu. Nene Kandrong.
Before you even ask your question, let me just make a clarification there. I was in the room where Professor Sedat Yafa was speaking, and the issue of Mandinka, Talib's mother is a Mandinka, was not made on any basis but to emphasize the fact that he wasn't ready to go and be pushing and pulling or going to election with Talib because Talib is his nephew. Because he mentioned that. So he was trying to establish that fact and the reason why he wouldn't allow himself to even go to election over there. And that's the reason that why he had to, talk with her, because you guys were there. They went outside and talked, and came back. They went outside and talked, other people involved. So through that consensus building, he said, okay, for these reasons, you understand, I am going to leave it. And that is what he was trying to put to the public. Because that was also, those statements were made when we had the negotiations outside the room where the media was. So he had to make it to the public. It wasn't made because of Manding Kafasa Ko or tribal sentiment. He was trying to build a foundation of why he took the decision he took. So it's very important that we clear that point.
Yeah,
So you can go ahead and ask your question.
Politico mo bala wala ila ke baro korosir bla jamala biji. Ndena nga talbe la statement o do moy wala nyindi ko ala patio lo pour kaje ko mo be kanyango patio nyin kono. Abol kono si fatam fan sol nen birol ani nyim fatam fan si kol wol day bondi ko nyin kono. Nako adanta nyin da ko mbarndi unam mbajala ko wo murle son seplati kodi me alon ko man kuliya bake bar di moment ay mandin ka kumo foje wo musiyolati silam wo be damen contradict ka wala nyindi ko ite be même face kan wo mantare wo ko kono malum fe ka understand kaje ko talbe la agenda man koti so ni talbe fana ma afen ka to dum a jabi jela ama condemn jela o do mbajala ka fo ko mandin ka ko sitarnuwa ko nyin kono le andung talbe boda nam patio men kono biraba fam fasa la trum pour ka funtiwo patio nyin kono nyin ketala dalilol ti kaje ka fo ko si fatam fansi kolu ajele wol siata boda nam patio men kono ani nendirolu ani kada firol sa ni bo fasa ka yo si kumo foji odin kirato
Talibo, don't try to shift the goalpost.
No.
Talibo, we're elders. We all wait. Sidi. I'm not Mandinka. But even in my Manjago culture, when you sit to talk about maybe consensus or more yamari in terms of maybe futuko, wala badi yako, these things are said. Ntolla culture ka fon tem Manjago na culture. No wait. Ntolla Manjago na culture. Dindingo manyanna tambila kebal nyato. Nin keba diamuto, nin keba yedani, inyanta yamfula. Those kind of things, you understand? You bring them, but it's not made on tribal sentiments, you understand? To score a political point or anything else. So all this thing was mentioned in that aspect. In that aspect. No.
Because
that was a typical political thing because you refused to give somebody a job or you wanted to send somebody out of a job simply because of their political affiliation or because of their tribe. So it's completely different. So you know what? I have a lot to say. So I'm not going to, spend time on that trivial issue. Let's move, please. Let's really move. Let's move. There are more pressing issues that we need to talk.
Thank you.
Because at the end of the day, I'm not num ko dege, ñu ñoo waxal am na nuñ ko dege, so it's up to them to take it that way. So I respect your position.
Thank you. Nene, selection bi amna, Unite leader, kii di Talib Ahmed Bensouda, select nañ ko pour mu nekk njiit bii nii si coalition bii nii. First balaa ñoo dem si kanam, what is your reaction about the selection itself, Talib being the flag bearer? Li lan la mean si Unite as a political party?
Okay, I think I agree with Lamin. Danga waroon na commencé si man. But it's still okay, you're the host, you're the driver, wherever you take us, we go. Right, Lamin?
Yep.
Wherever you take us, we go. So again, direct to that question, I'm happy that he was selected, ne tànn nañ ko, parce que mut na ko, te suma gom-gom may ne, lim laaj te mun na koo def. Am na xam-xam bi, am na man-man bi, te tollu na fa, wane na ko. So buñ toogee waxtaan from April, ñëw ba August, ñu def the final process, and then Talib emerge because bokk na si ñoo xam ne ñu ngi doon jongante pour am loolu noonu. So su dee definitely war ba ñi nga xam ne ñooy tànn ñu gis ne moom moo ko mun ñu jox ko ko kon lu képp ku ko support and képp ku bokk si process bi gëm ko loo mun a wax rek alhamdulilah egg nañ foofu noonu. But the process choosing Talib pour tànn Talib mooy one the last of weeks from April of consultations, of meetings, of naka lañ ko waxatee sax arguments, you know, and it was all ba nga xam ne pour ñu egsi si bés bii nii. Now, first of all, I'm a firm believer of dialogue. And boo gisee kenn jóg ne mu ngi def coalition mooy li askan bi di laajte li mbébéti askan bi. Because mboolem ku fi taxaw ne da ngaa jongante yow mënuloo la ko jox sa bopp askan bi ñoo la war a tànn. so su dee askan bi laa tànn wax nañ ne ñun daal boo balaa ku ñoo support mooy su jaaree ci fànn yii nii parce que ñun ñëpp ni ko taaliba waxee gis nañ ne incumbent bi am na ñu ko support you understand and I guess the belief of a lot of people that is not substantiated yet unless you go to election and one party wins but gom-gom la ak yaakaar ne benn parti mënut a génnee Barrow right parti yu bari ñu ngee dóor seen dina ne man kenn mun naa ko waaye dinañ dee wax ne suñ bokkee mbooloo mi gën a rëy dafaa gën a yomba te dafaa gën a set moo waral coalition building yi nii mu ñëw waaye now the genesis of this coalition a lot of people initially because ADD Malik Camara moom moo woon the person who reach out to form this coalition. So initially, before ñuy ko jox coalition 2026, it was being referred to as ADD, coalition building, because of ñoom seen parti bi is ADD. So then invite just political parties from a start. Guy meet nañ a few times, then you realize ne maybe in their view, I don't know what was in their head at the time, to say, let's open it up and invite movements and civil society. So they reached out. Okay? So this is the foundation of the coalition building. So this was few weeks after the initiation. So they wrote to other movements and civil society, and people answered to the call. People came. And that was how we got into the coalition building. And this was weeks after they've started. And the UDP was there, the GDC was there, and EPP were there from the start. So ñun dañ leen fa fekk si te biñ ñëwee fekk nañ ne gars yi commencé nañ already gars yi xaaruñ ñeneen ñi ñëw ñoom commencé nañ so ku ñëw da nga am pour pick up from ñoom fiñ am and then ñu continue right now Mr. Mbalo man even in the coalition room there I had always refused to refer to Mbalo as Professor Mbalo because I don't believe he's a professor. Man dama believe ne he's using that impersonation la which you can only naka lañ ko waxatee sax di nga research ci loolu in the Gambia here somewhere else you will be met with a resistance and dealt with in whatever way the legal or whatever because if you haven't earned it because the title you don't just pick it and you don't just give it to yourself right it is conferred on you when you have passed through a process to be able to get that. So, pour man dama ko gisee ne, it is really demeaning to the people who have done the work for years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, to eventually, have the title conferred on them for anybody to just emerge from anywhere and put it on you and then people accept it and call in you. I think it is unfair. I think it is gross dishonesty for anybody. So moo tax man in there dama protest ne duma ko ooyee professor I call him Mr. Mbalo. Okay, again man defuma ko chairman dañ ko fa fekka my party when I say man not nene individually but my party that I was representing. So anyway the process was going. Somewhere down the line it was brought up on the table ne what direction of coalition are we trying to build? So two formats were presented by Mr. Mamadou Diba, who was the vice chair at the time. So the two formats were a party-led and a candidate-led. He even did a presentation on the two formats for people to understand the difference and be able to choose wisely and to make informed decision, right? Okay, let's remember the UDP coming into the coalition, their position as to a party-led was known way before the formation of the coalition. They have said it. They've got a lot of backlash. They've got a lot of, resistance. But they stuck to the position that party-led. And even at any party-led, we are leading. That was very clear. And they were not negotiating in that. But anyway, they were in the coalition. So, being the decision, that was presented on the table. It was deliberated on, several deliberations on that particular topic. So, eventually, they said, okay, since we cannot build a consensus, because again, there was a code of conduct that was signed by everybody in the room at the time that is participating. And the code of conduct, there is one, I think, 17 or 19, I think it was number 17, to say, on any decision, we first of all try to get consensus. And where consensus fails, we resort to voting, right? mooy ne dañ am pour try ñu am nangutoo boo xam ne ñëpp nangu nañ su nekkee ne loolu mënta am then dañ am pour sànni karta pour am a decision pour move ahead. So on that particular party-led, candidate-led, it was done in the House. So, but that very day, the UDP had asked, you know, and to use Larry's word, pleaded with the Assembly that that should not be announced. And they agreed for some reason, right? So it was not announced on the presser. So at the time, it was not out. The coalition body has adopted a candidate-led against a party-led. Another week came, you understand, the issue came back. And right, the issue came back because there was a particular document we were talking about. And it was all mentioned party, 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 party. So it was, an objection came, why are we talking about party when we have already adopted a candidate-led model? Okay? So the UDP here again were arguing profusely that no, you understand, we cannot move with that. So the House is like, no, we have voted for it already. Their position was, no, 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 that was not a vote to make a decision. It was a survey to kind of pick the mind of the entities that are in the House to know where their heads is at. They debated that. Okay, at that point in time, it was also like, okay, it was a survey. Majority believed that was already a vote. They say, okay, we can do it again. So the same process was repeated. Now, it was accepted that that is a vote of where each party lies, and that was done. Majority again, in fact, the numbers increase of the people that are saying candidate-led, right? So that was done. It was, and now it started going outside. Oh, the coalition model is a candidate-led model, but yet still the UDP were coming. We kept on going. We kept on going. We kept on going. Now another day came, and we were talking about another document. The issue came back again. Again, at this point in time, the UDP is like, yes, we voted for it, but it was not adopted. So therefore, we cannot enforce something that has not been adopted.
I hope people will understand your language now, the viewers. You are too much into English.
English, okay, let me try. And when you're talking about all this documentations or whatever,
yeah, it's fine.
Adopt, say Wolofs, or maybe you can say it in Mandinka, you know.
Just go ahead, it's fine.
Carte fayo, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you know, molie karto fay ka foko ntol lafta nyinna. You understand? Modo fana ye karto fay ka foko lafta nyinna. Bari, you know, nata fananke, UDP kako, nta use nola, nta implement nola, parce que ma adopt. You understand? That is a process that you do for something to be enforceable. So, okay, I remember that day again, there was debate all over. So we say, okay, that's not a problem. Now let's go ahead and adopt it. You know, that decision, let's go ahead and adopt it. So it was adopted. So at this point in time, it was made clear that now it is adopted, then we cannot go back to the discussion of candidate-led or party-led. And this was the House that has done that. Again, everybody was there. Everybody gave their take. We deliberated, and a decision was taken. Okay? So now we went back to, there was this document introduced, introduced, power sharing framework. Power sharing. At first the name was weighted framework.
Okay.
And the weighted framework was, you list all the entities that are there. Then, lan la ñoo use pour weigh, pour naka lañ ko waxatee sax?
Seen poids bi.
Waaw, pour seet ku ci nekk sa poids, loolu la ñoo use ñu jox la a point, right? Pour nata pata bu nekk. So nata bi fan lañ koy fan la mooy faaxee ko mooy 2021 elections results yi. So 2021 elections soo ko xoolee ña fa nekk yëpp UDP ñoo fa demoon election, GDC, APP Sobeya. Si biir ña fa nekkoon ci room bi ñooñu ñoo participate 2021 elections, right? So soo bëggee use 2021 election pour nata koo xam ne bokkutoon si election boobu noonu ndax loolu feeyaana. So loolu ñu am ñu ko laajte because man mënuloo man nata loo xam ne bokkuma ci woon fekkewu ma ko. So debate bi ñëw back and forth. So Diba mi nga xam ne moo indi document bi understand ko very well, try na pour present ko and defend na position am, try na torop sa pour nit ñi understand ne loolu mooy li gën. méngaloo na ko sax lii xew ay bitim réew ay dëkk yoo xam ne ay Kenya ay South Africa loolu yëpp indi na ko ci waxtaan bi pour nit ñi gom ne moom lim indi noonu mooy liggéeyante loolu la nit ñi war a nangu so waxtu googu UMC ñun ñu ngi fa as a movement register nguñ right so lim def mooy dafa jël mayoral election bu 2023 mu indi ko pour UMC waaye daf ko jël mu xaaj ko jox benn xaaj UDP jël benn xaaj jox ko UMC pour ne taalib moom ci loolu lañ ko mejo so you see the inconsistency foofu noonu yaa ngi bëgg a use presidential election ak mayoral election okay again this was not even our objection but ñi nekk ci room bi foofu noonu include the GDC the APP Sobeya ñëpp ne déedéet lii munta nekka so ñu debate ko back and forth ñu taajee ko boor usuñ ko so later on the same diba mu indiwaat this power sharing but power sharing bi same formula bi la use again presidential election pour ñetta ñele ne le mooy UDP GDC APP Sobeya then mu use mayoral election pour UMC time bi fekk na this was ñun register nañ léegi we are not UMC Unite Movement for Change but Unite Party as a registered party mu use loolu noonu but yet seen ñu ne ba tey loolu munta jox nit ñi li nga xam ne loolu lañ elloo seen axa ak seen yeleef because yet still koo xam ne contestus at all kooku naka nga ko liyee so kooku dañ just jël a formula rek ñoom ñëpp allocate leen maybe the same points all across so debate nañ ko xëccoo ak yooyu noonu ba loolu taxawut loolu nag ba mu taxawutee sa la UDP wax ne ñoom dinañ consider seen position foofu noonu you understand but yet still ñu ngee ñëw ñu ngee bokka ci waxtaan yi ñu ngee bokka ci xëccoo yi ñu ngee bokka ci document yi nga xam ne jotoon nañ koo sign ba time biñ tollu noonu so which means ne yow suñ bokkee ñu indi document ñun ñëpp ñu review ko ñu correct ko ñu adapt ko ñu sign ko xam nga loolu dafa mel ni yow nangu nga ci li document boobu wax so ñu jógee foofu noonu ñu dem so noonu lañ demee the former vice president naka la tuddaata Fatoumata Jallow Tambajang mu am bés bi mu wax ne dafa bugg a bokka si médiateur si parce que mu wax expérience am jaar-jaaram man-manam ak moom foog na ne tamit mag of kalibaam war na faa mun a bokka pour léegi-léegi bu xëccoo amee nga xam ne dina mun a waxal nit ñi ñu mun a teey ak yooyu because foofu nekkutoon loo xam ne it wasn't a walk in the park in the room sometimes you know so waaye bi mu liyee laajte biñ ko laaj njëkk mooy ne dafa moom su nekkee ne dafaa dem nekk médiateur ndax benn tey am na éene pour apply pour nekk a candidate like the leader of the flag bearer mu tontu ne waaw so bi mu tontoo ne waaw so ñu ne ko well loolu dafa mel ni conflict of interest la doo mun a am interest ne da nga bugg a nekk a flag bearer of the coalition waaye yet si nga nekk ñi nga xam ne ñooy dogal mooy mediation bi understand nga so loolu mun a nekk yooyu noonu xam nga mu explain naat moom xam naa expérience naka la moo setee boundaries ak lan la war a def te fiil na ne loolu du mun a du yaaxa dara ak yooyu noonu but ñi fa nekk nanguwuñ ko anyway ñu dem ba waxtu jot pour ñu def application si ñu indi document bi pour application bi ñëpp seet ko ñu wàññi liñ cee wàññi yokka liñ cee yokka defaraat language bi yëpp ba ñëpp nangutoo ñu nangu ko ñu ne ok bii la ñoo use pour ku bugg nga apply ñu joxe bés ñëpp ñëw jël form bi ñu fiil ñu delloo si ko waat so moom si boppam former vice président bi bindoon na ne bugga naa so bi mu bindee ne bugga naa semaine bi ci toppa mooy the following week mu ñëw ne si suba si dañ ñëw rek mu ñëw wax na eneem ne moom dafa bugg a génna parce que bugga tuta jongante bokk si ñi nga xam ne ñu ngi koo ut yonasaan mu génna ñëpp jaajëfal ko ci loolu ci lim def noonu parce que bi mu expliqué ne moom mag la yaayi Gambia la am na yoo xam ne comme waruñ ko cee gis waruñ ko cee fekka te mbir mi ni muy demee dafa bugg a génna daal moom mu mun a dimbale pour affaire bi mun a gën a dem ñëpp rafetlu ko ñu bari taxaw waxal ko ay xeeti baax-baaxam xam nga gërëm ko ñu bari ñëpp almost every entity in there am na ku taxaw waxal ko lu baax so bés boobu si boppam mu ñëwaat présentaat ne dafa bugg a still mu ngi still fàttali ne lam ñu waxoon ne dafa bugg a bokk si médiateur si so boobu ñu nangul ko so mu bokk nag naaw si médiateur si so document si bla bla li ñoo def yëpp understand nga ñu ngi koo def waaye bii fekk na UDP génn nañ time boobu noonu te UDP bés biñ génn si suba lañ génn ci bëccëg si Diba moom itamit mu wax ñu ne xalaatam mooy ne yéeneem dafaa bàyyi parce que gëmut ne UDP suñ fa nekkutee lii dina sotti dina dox dafaa dem man mii taxawoon naa foofu ne ko lii de doy na waar parce que yow da nga fi nekkoon pour UDP da nga fi nekk pour project bi coalition 2026 because su dee ne loolu moo la fi taaj su UDP demee sax yow sa kéemtalaay kàttan di nga ko def pour gis ne ñi fi des liñ bugga yow nga jàppale leen ci loolu noonu parce que mbir mi du bugg a bugg a benn nit mbir mi du bugg a bugg a moom mbir mi bugg a bugg a ña fa nekk la pour mottali li nga xam ne moom la askan bi ci biti loolu lañ bugga mu ne waaw dina ko xalaat dafaa dem mu xalaataat su dee dina delsi mu ñëw su dee du delsi den dina bindal lee tam wax man mii maa taxawaat ma ne ko man de su ma moomoon lii doo delsi ma ne ko parce que soo amee sa business nga am sa business sa corporation sa CEO mu ñëw taxaw ne la man gomatuma liggéey bi li liggéey bi di demee gomatuma ko parce que am na koo daaxa koo xam ne kooku su fi nekkutee liggéey bi du dox waaye man tamit foofu because of loolu am naa ñaari xel waaye nag du ma bàyyi léegi damaa dem ma xalaat ndax bugga naa dellusiwaat ndax du ma dellusiwaat ma ne ko su doon man la bés boobu noonu laa daa xama ni tamit dama laa wax ne bul ñëwaat parce que already wax nga ma ne gëmatuloo already man si suma gom-gom ne yow boo delsee sax sa kéemtalaay kàttan doo ko ci def kon loolu yaxa sa time la ba pare ñu ne yaxa suñ time la man mi maa ko wax loolu noonu waaye man xamoon naa ne du ñëw bi mu demee fanaa next day also mu bindal leeta ne du ñëwaatin soo kooku dem na at that time bi the same day bu UDP demee so Malick mi nga xam ne moom moo invite ñëpp that day man si suma gis-gis nekkutoon soo xoolee Malick si biir room boobu noonu fanaa xom rek la defutoon waaye tuuti mu xom foofu noonu ngir décision boobu neexu ko and try na be moom bés boobu di wax ne nañ leen xaar ñu try dem jëliwaat UDP ñu ñëw ak waaye ñi fa nekk ñëpp ne you know what UDP dem taxul ne lu nekk dafa fooma dañ am pour continuer so noonu la mbir mi demee bañ jël déet ni ñuy apply ñu wax leen ne ñu def consultations among themselves ñu consult because of again remember I told you that the code of conduct said consensus first if that fails we do voting so ñu delluwaat ci document boobu di consult dem mediators yi Mr. Mbalo was part of it maire bi was part of it si këram la ko gars yi doon defee sax ba egg si samedi bi nga xam ne lañ waroon a sànni carte bi pour mun a tànn njiit even ba samedi boobu noonu sax dañ waxoon ne consultation bi in efforts to build consensus was still on until when we get back to the room moment bi ñoo war a vote su nekkee ne ñoom ñëpp wax nañ ne building consensus then ñu sànni carte.
Yeah. All right. Legi, after the selection, but right before the selection, the announcement rather, esa ñëwna mu joxe statement ne withdraw na si coalition bi. At that time, you people were inside. Mom si biti la ko defoon foofu noonu. Naka ngeen amee information ne esa withdraw na. Did you guys have an information inside the room? Bi esa di waxoon ne withdraw na wala daf ko communicate to you people first bala moo ñëw because I understand esa ñëwoon na force si suba you understand mu deelu and then mu ñëwaat second ñëwaan bi mooy fu mu doon read a statement bi di wane ne he has withdrawn but at that time you people were inside doing the consultation. How did you receive that information?
Okay, so Thursday before the 8th, I think Thursday was the 6th, right? Then I'm a task force meeting. And task force meeting bi ñu ko amee ci këri maire bi ok so bi ñu amee task force meeting bi was to draw up the agenda pour bési samedi bi and also document yi nga xam ne la gars yi war a sign ok yooyu lañ doon jéem a jeexal nangutoo googu noonu pour adopt ko ci suba si nga xam ne bu ñu demee ba choose signing bi dina mun a am ñii signé lu ñu war a signé so fekk boobu ni ma la ko waxee kon ñoom neen consultante nañ visitante nañ demante nañ seen kër yi ak yooyu noonu understand nga pour waxtaan ñoom neen pour xool kan mooy bàyyil kan and loolu duñ fi ne bu leet loolu fu nekk is a best practice ne yéen neen dem leen ngeen waxtaan ba soo leen jubóoyee ngeen ñëw wax ñu lan mooy nangutoo bi pour ñu mun a jëlee from foofu noonu ñu continuer waaye ñun ñëpp suñ bébét mooy won ne gars yi dinañ nangutoo ba duñ saani karta élection du am so def nañ loolu ay days before Thursday bi ñoom ñeneen yëpp mooy His Excellency Essa Bokarr Sy Professor Yafa council Essa Mbay Fall ak Lord Mayor Talib Ahmed Bensouda gars yi ñëw that very Thursday si ngoon si waaye ñun suñ meeting bi maire bi yónnee woon na kaddu ne daf ñoo ñaan pour ñu forma yëpp ñu forma whole process bi parce que moom dafa am ci ay tànka yu mu nekk di dox pour delluwaat ci ñi nga xam ne dañ bàyyi pour mu indiwaat leen ñi nga xam ne bokkuñu woon sax pour mu indiwaat leen te ngoon soosu noonu mu ne ñu 7 o'clock mu ngi am meeting ak oncle Ousseynou Dabo te suñ demee ba continuer ak process bi den moom loolu dafa métti ci moom ku mel ni Ousseynou Dabo pour mu indiwaat ko parce que tànn nañ ba pare so moom daf doon ñaan pour ñu bàyyi dañ ñu ñoo try pour indi leen ñëpp ñu soog a tànn.
That was on Thursday.
That was Thursday afternoon. so ña fa nekkoon ñu ne amuñ problème pour maire bi tànkaa mag ak expérience am ak liggéeyam pour mu dem try pour indi ñëpp ñu dellusiwaat ña bokkoon génna ña bokkutoon ñëpp bu kenn des na try mu indi leen however loolu warut a tax ñu change suñ calendar of activities yi because dafa am luñ dig Gambians yi te Gambians yi dig nañ la ne bés sangam dara dina am dañ ko war a continuer so ñu nangu foofu loolu noonu so which means ne moom dina continuer li moo def waaye process bi du stop ok and leaders yi ñoom ñëpp ñu d'accord ci loolu noonu so moom ci ngoon si dem na ci Ousseynou Dabo ci ngoon soosu noonu ba tey nag li mu fa waxa moom waxangu ko kenn because waxangut nit ñi foofu noonu xam nañ ne dem na fa waaye reportut ne bi ma demee si Ousseynou de lii ak lii laa fa jëlee loolu reporté nga at least let me say fu ma nekkut waxu ko foo xam ne man fa te man amul benn process boo xam ne manqué naa fa you understand so te dégguma ko su dee am na it dégguma ko te fekkewuma ko waaye anyway so si guddi si ñoom leader si ñu mit ñu am fa meeting bu gudda bu yaaga you understand waaye ba tey foofu nangutoo amul waaye remember at that time Essa Bokar si moom wax na ne moom dina leen bàyyi understand te ni mu ko waxee du ne dafa withdraw pour anything else waaye pour yombal process bi moom dina bàyyi mu support any one of them koo xam ne image na as the flag bearer boo xam ne moom lañ tànn so now dafa mel ni ñoom ñetta professeur Yafa lawyer Essa Mbay Fall ak his lordship Talib Ahmed Bensouda ñoo doon dem waaye yet still liñ leen sas mooy da koy waxtaan leen parce que lii ci ngoon la this was Thursday Friday am na ba Saturday bañ egga ci time yi ote karta bi bugga nañ ngeen ñëw dañoo dem karta saani karta wala am nañ nangutoo te lii mooy nangutoo bi ok so loolu moo xewoon prior so biñ ñëwee samedi ci suba ñëpp egsi as normal you know waxtaan ngee tooñante bi yooyu noonu ci room bi ñu ne ñu ndeewoo pare na ñëpp wàcca dem si suuf pour ndéewoo waaye balaa ñoo wàcca pour ndéewoo Essa Mbay Fall mu send text to professeur Yafa ne ko dañ war a seetaat yëfi vice président waxuñ ko waaye dañ ko war a seetaat te man su nekkee ne waxtaanuñ ko ba d'accord ci naka la loolu war a demee man damaa withdraw maa ngi toog nii si boori professeur Yafa mu won ñu texte bi understand nga muy rédal ko ñene ay yooyu noonu ñu wàcca dem ndéewoo si ndéewoo bi tam the same thing waxtaan ngee reegee yooyu noonu and all that again election lañ doon war a ñëw sànni si su dee de nangutoo amoon so ku nekk you are trying to be nice and cordial and jolly with everybody because ku ci nekk indi nga sa ñetti nit pour ñu sànni karta right so ñu jógee foofu ñu dugga si room bi ñun ñëpp ñu ngi fa ñu review correct adopt benn document ñu dem si ñaareel bi so ñaareel boobu noonu la gaay Essa Fall yi jóg ne ñoom ñu ngi wax ne dañ bugga si document boobu ñu add fa another number boo xam ne dafa wax ne suñ saanee karta koo xam ne moo jël second may ñaareel bi automatically dafa nekk running mate this was the term bi gaay use running mate moo koo xam ne mooy àndaa yow ci election bi so man ak kii nii maa Lamin man su ma nekkee running mate Lamin xam nga moom la ñoo present as president ok waaye the moment ñu elect Lamin which means ne automatically man damaa nekk vice président la so ñoom dañ bugg a ñu def ko ci kayit gi foofu noonu so wax gi ne cour ñu ne waaw ok first of all ñun suñ constitution bi Gambia xamuñu running mate even suñ ko fa defee sax nekkut loo xam ne dafay taxaw so man ma ne leen nañ leen bàyyi xel mbir lépp lu ñoo def suñ document bi parce que fii luñ fi def rek ëllëg si biir ndax président bi def na ko ndax defu ko lum digge woon la parce que Barrow digge na fi 3 years mu génn ci 3 years bi ba tey nit ñaa ngi ko dóoree yar googu noonu yenataan so nañ leen bàyyi xel di def suñ leadership ba nga xam ne dañoo féel parce que lii suñ ko defee mu def ko defu ko su ko defutee dafa mel ni ñu ngi ko dañ ko set up pour mu fail dañ ko set up dañ ko jël dóor ko ci kaw askan bi ci Gambian si because dinañ ko wax ne yow doo dee fonkuloo sa kaddu parce que wax bal naka kaddu ama diggee bor la ni ko olof yi diggee bor la soo diggee expectation bi mooy ne da nga ko war a def so ñu nekk ci and this was the APP Sobeya people they were not even saying consider for the house to consider it. We insist it has to be there. We insist. And their language was to put there, it's morally and legally binding that the second person that emerges from the election will automatically be the vice president.
Does this mean they has taken the decision already and they wanted to use this term? Well,
it seems like it. It was discussed and then they came to ask them with the right? So now, this is the iron, the funny part. So it was debated back and forth, And you could see somebody that came with a position already and, was very determined, Lolo dafa and was not even saying it in a diplomatic manner. The person was shouting at the top of their voice.
Okay, Nene.
And this person was Maila Touré.
Okay.
Excuse me, so they waxuma turam bi bu baax because nekkon ko xamne min nako o xamna ko prior so mom mo don def lol nonu bour mom tamit ko xamne mom consistently mo dey ñew muy Essa muy Mayla then they just show up from time to time because legi Mayla ñew legi somebody else comes Essa does show up waye mom pour man dama ne show off right parce que Essa man fekkewuma fu Essa toge from the start of the meeting to the end mom su dugasé always dafa fekk ñu ci meeting bi commencé na ba paré su dugasé the first opportunity bu mu am mu wax su waxé ba paré dafa jóg paak bagage mi mu dem I remember am na bés boo xam ne xulo bu mag moo fa am dafa jóg dem gars yi ne ko mu toog pour mu xaar ndax ñu mun a comment ci li mu wax mu ne déedéet moo dafa yàkkamte dafa busy mu dem Malick Camara of ADD mu mer ne moom dafa seetlu ne Essa respected room bi parce que saa yu mu dugasee mu jël mic bi mu wax ba pare dafa dem du déglu kenn du ko mun a tontu or whatever.
So this has been happening all along.
This has been happening there. So Malick dafa mer that day understand nga ba mu am xëccoo ak buur naan ko waa Essa dafa busy Essa amul time ak yooyu noonu but we are like you know what as far as moom mënut a toog waaye am na ku ko fi nekkal koo xam ne lépp lu ñoo nangutoo si kanami kooku la te kooku bokk na ci ñiy nangu te amu problème because si room bi foofu noonu 3 mooy maximum bi. You can have 1, you can have 2 and maximum 3. So if they choose to bring 1 person, that should not be our problem. If they choose to bring 2 or 3, that should not be our problem. You understand? As far as the process goes on, so you move. So at any point in time, there was no time that this issue was brought up in all the discussions and framework building and documentation adopting and scrutiny and signing and correcting. The issue of vice president was not brought up. And for me, I think Esha should know better as a lawyer, a trained lawyer, for so many years. If this was an issue, a main issue for you, you could have brought it up at that time. It could be discussed, and possibly we will agree on a way to frame it in the room where you have consensus on that. But that never came until Saturday morning. You understand? So at that point in time, nyom debate nañ. Bour doesn't contribute much when it comes to the substantive issues in that room. What he does best is to pass papers for people to sign or pass the mic around. So I don't know whether Essa knows that. Basically, he did not have much take or impact in terms of the frameworks and the document. But then, what is important, every other document, everybody sees it. Everybody sends their comment either on the page or when we come to the room. So I take it that they were okay and the room had the buy-in and the endorsement and acceptance of everything that's been signed, because you don't sign if you're not agreeing. Okay. Now, fast forward to that day, we back and forth. Man, vehemently, I disagreed. That should not be mentioned anywhere on those documents, like many other people there. But for the sake of compromise, they said, okay, you know what? We're trying to build consensus. We don't want anybody to walk away at this point in time. Now, you tell us the language you want us to put there for that particular number in terms of the running mate. Again, we're not using running mate because we don't have that. They say, okay, vice president, after they have consulted with Essa, right? Because during all this time, somebody was on the phone who tells them what to say and what to argue on. And if it doesn't pass through, they will report back to that particular person, you understand, whether they should let it go or they should keep insisting on that. And the word insist was being used on their argument. So now they were the ones that coined the phrase we want to use for Funono. It was the legally binding was removed, but morally was put there. So a compromise was struck. Ligay bugon, at least room be def nañ ko. So we thought we have got somewhere and we can move. So document be finally ñu adopt ko. Biñ ko adopté, minutes later they came back and said no. That sentence does not suffice. They're not comfortable with it. We should change it again. So the room was saying we have already adopted. Why do we have to bring back to review something that the room has adopted? But guy insists again to build consensus, which I disagree, and I was insisting, please capture on the minutes, I am saying no to that because it's morally wrong. But it was done. So you move on. So we were on another document that was right before lunch. Once we come back to lunch, it was going to be the voting.
Yeah.
So during that document, almost at the end, that's when Esa walked in. So Bim Dugase, Mutok, understand, Bim Toge, Bur reach out for the mic and gave it to him.
That was the time begin Nekon did have sent right after the lunch begin Nekon did have the consultation.
No, this was before lunch.
Before lunch, yeah.
This was before lunch. You understand?
Yeah, at that time you people were inside.
In the room.
Benen stairs bila jël, four stairs bila
jël.
No,
yeen bi ngeen di gis Esa fekk ñëw na wax na ñu ne mom withdraw na ba pare. Yeen time bobu ngeen ko gis yeen and time bobu la wax yeen. Because dafa ñëw mu egsi si room bi in the front part mu ñëw dugga si mu toog buur jox ko mic bi mu jël si la jóg taxaw wax ne sorry, I know you guys are in the middle of important things and all that, but I have an announcement to make. Unfortunately, I want to withdraw from this process because I believe this process, the entire process is a mess and it is compromised.
Okay.
At that point in time, then we read letter and gisnon and all that.
All right.
So that's when we were like, okay, several people are in the room, but you choose to mention unite at least twice or three times. And you mentioned the name of Talib Ahmed Bensouda. Okay. On what basis?
Esa statement ami wax na ne during the day of selection itself, the announcement itself, day bobu nonu bum démé dafa gis ay faces yo xamné he did not
faces yu xamewut
wow yo la fa gis. And then lulu daf ko jaaxal trop stuff like that, and these are some of the things yoo xam ne raise na ko yow da nga nekk koo xam ne since onset yaa ngi si coalition bii nii day one to last day ndax there are people ñoo xam ne ñëw neen during the day of voting ñoo xam ne were not seen before in this coalition negotiation. Is this true?
Okay, and let me even start with himself. Am na ñoo xam ne musu ñoo gis Esa si coalition building bi. Because he doesn't mom do ñëw every day, every Saturday. Te su ñëwee tamit dafa just ñëw split of a second ni ma ko waxee mu wax mu dem. So am na ñoo xam ne dañ dee ñëw fekk Esa ñëwangut balaa Esa ñëw ñoom dem nañ o balaa ñëw fekk Esa ñëw na so musuñ faa tasee. So Esa mënut a xam ñooñu te ñooñu mënuñoo am Esa. Xëy na suñ ko xamee xam nañ ko ne ki mooy Esa Faal candidate of 2021 waaye musuñoo tasee or exchange anything else. Again, waxoon naa ne rule bi mooy entity bu nekk da nga war a am 3 pour a represent si room bi. Several times am na ko indi 4 ñu ne la mukk da nga am pour choose yan 3 moo faa nekk because it was a rule for everybody else. And I've told you am na time yoo xam ne buur rek moo fa dee nekkal EPP soobee yaa. Am na time yoo xam ne that Mr Touré dafa dee nekk ak buur am na yeneen time somebody else dafa dee nekk ak rek am na benn bés man maa am pour approach kooku ma laaj ko after lunch la kooku ñëw. ma laaj ko ma ne ko dafa am koy xaar mu ne ma déedéet dama ñëw si meeting bi ma ne ko kan ngaa represent mu ne ma APP Sobeya ma dem si buur ma laaj ko ma ne ko kii mu ne yéen la moo represent mu ne ma axankay mooy suñ something I cannot remember so kooku musuma koo gis that was the first day ma gis ko and that was the last day ma gis ko. Okay so this thing of da nga gis unfamiliar faces yow nekkuloo ko xam ne mun ngaa xamee nit ñi parce que yow toogaloo pour laamisoo jaamalante waxa nit ñi engage ñoom at any point in time for their faces to stick or their voices to stick. Okay, that's 1. 2, a day of voting, everybody else wants to maximize their gains because you have 3 votes each entity. So don't ñëw ñaar that was a day boo xam ne you want to bring all 3 because koo mun a support da nga bëgg a make sure ne sa ene mooy ne kooku mu win. So su nekkee ne am nga the opportunity pour votal kooku ñetti vote that day fooguloo di nga indi sa ñettay and that's not anything that is illegal or whatever. Because ñoom that day dañ indi moom Essa mu ngi fa Buur mu ngi fa Malay Touré mu ngi fa. So if we were voting, they were going to use all their 3 votes. So why is it that a problem? You understand? So man am na ñoo xam ne ñu ngi fa xàmmeewuma leen. I don't. am na ñoo xam ne xàmmee naa leen parce que ñëw nañ once or twice for certain entities, but then that was the day that they came back after a long time. So pour man that is so trivial. Pour man that is not an issue. The bottom line is the rule is you need 3 people to vote on behalf of your entity. Whether you bring 2 human beings, you understand, and another human being without legs or eyes, or somebody else bring human being without hair, anybody else bring a human being without fingernails, it is a non-issue. The issue is you have people that you can say these are the people that are going to vote on my behalf as a registered entity in the coalition building. So that's a very trivial thing.
Essa wax na ne mu ne bi ngeen demee foofu noonu si kiram you have shown it to him clearly ne they have been investing in this for 3 years. So loolu dafa wone ne you people, your position is clear and you will not accept any results other than Talib. Lii dafa ñëw BUDP taxaw ne ñu ne ñoom party led, they stood on their ground. Legi Essa su ñëwee mu wax lii nii si unite these allegations. What does this mean?
Okay, it means nothing, but it speaks of his character. Because what Essa was trying to do, right, was attack the image of Unite Party and the character of our party leader, Talib Ahmed Bensouda. That's all he was trying to do. But I can sit here and tell you ne Lulu fail na. Li all of the wax rek nit ki waxi démbaam a waxi teyam danga koo taaj mu méngoo nga xool bu méngooyee nga xam ne nit ki ne waxam mun nga koo jël waaye bu méngooyul rek den seetalaat borom. Okay, so now this thing of trying to gain or drag the UDP in an issue boo xam ne it is not their issue and has nothing to do with the process, you know, it is really pour man it's a low. It's high time low. Secondly, that meeting, which is not even peculiar to Mom, it has happened between them, the leader. Essa has gone and saw and met another leader. Is that not a problem? Another leader has gone and met Essa aside from Talib. Is that not a problem? Talib has gone met another leader. Is that not a problem? Another leader has gone to meet Talib. Is that not a leader? That was part of the rules to talk among themselves to try to build consensus. However, if that meeting bobu non pour mom gisee na ko ne lu warut la lolu happened on Thursday, happened on Friday, they happened on Saturday morning pour yow nga war a soog a wax lolu at that time. It happened weeks or a week prior to thing ega noonu. Okay? Te musuloo ko raise si suñ meeting si yëpp musuloo ko wax. Okay? Now, this thing of ne Aziz moo wax nit Aziz moo dafa am kum ko wax kooku moo ko ñëw wax ne ko Talib Bensouda du accept any other reason apart from moom ñu select ko parce que dafa invest for the past 3 years. Ok loolu moo tax man su doon man la nit wax ma loolu li maa def ma nit li nga bugga laa bugga ma nit dama laa tegal for the past 15 years past 20 years ma nit lu ma invest lu ma def parce que négociation la dama ne su dee ne wax nañ ko loolu. parce que moo ko wax. su dee ne wax nañ ko loolu moom li mu waroon def Talib 3 years la wax 3 right. yow you've worked outside you've worked here you have a wealth of experience right you have so much knowledge in what you do ma ne dama laa indil a counter argument to tell you ne yow 3 years rek nga am yow defuloo dara yow man maa ngi nii 10 years maa ngi nii 15 years maa ngi nii 20 years pour ma counter yow pour wan la ne yow lii nga use pour ne yow la war a nekka man it lii laa wan pour ma wan la ne man la war a nekka loolu la waroon a nekka but not to come after the fact to use loolu noonu as an excuse ne loolu moo tax yow gëmatuloo process bi da ngaa génna in any way loolu Talib la concerné su dee Talib wax na ne du ma accept any other reason Talib is not the one deciding it's the people that we were trying to convince to vote for Talib that your guys were the same people your guys were trying to convince to vote for Essa right like a white Professor Yafa was trying to convince those people pour vote ko Everybody was canvassing for votes. Okay? So why did you even bother to canvass for votes? Knowing, having that information, Talib will not accept any other outcome apart from mom leading. Again, just go through the process. When the process is concluded and you win, it is Talib's business to accept it or not to accept it, to stay or to walk away and allow Talib to deal with the Gambian people. Because no matter at that point in time. Professionally, that is what is expected. That's what I will expect, and that is what is expected of a professional to deal with it. Why you dara hewambut nga ne diw mo mané li ak li because of lim ma wax motax manit li ak li lay def. It's baseless. It holds no water.
ñu ñëw si Mbalo. Mbalo moo nekk coalition chairman bi and raised a lot of things and in fact reject Talib's selection. Confirm the delegate inducement allegations. These are allegations, they are very serious allegations when it comes to this coalition. Right now, you get of investigations, send findings, it will be out on the 17th of this month. As Unite, you need to know, lan mo neka stance right now when it comes to these allegations coming from a chairman.
Our stance as Unite is our leader has been elected as the leader of a coalition. And it's not Unite only. Now, we're not talking about Unite as a party, it's about a coalition. And this is not Unite's business to even respond to SR on those baseless allegations because no evidence has been put forward and there will not be any evidence at any point in time because the allegations are unfounded.
So guy putting in evidence forward, guy gaining evidence findings shown in the are you people going to accept it?
No, for us at this point in time.
How sure are you?
No, wait, let me tell you. Because hamga sudara ame dinga sentune dina gena. Why lu amut? Naka nga sentune dina gena be yahadara. Man fofu lay waxe ni. Understand? As somebody who is in the center of things, I'm not worried about it. I'm not moved about it. As far as what we have worked for so many months, we have already come to a decision. Now is to build on that decision, to go out and talk to the Gambian people, to convince them why this is an alternative, why this is what is going to change their lives and livelihood, why this is what is going to bring them development, why this is going to bring about a better Gambia. This is the objective of the people that are in this coalition, not to mind what a disgruntled person is talking about. And it's been what? From Saturday, today is what? Friday, you have not put anything forward to substantiate your allegations. You know, we cannot be bothered with that because those are trivialities. That's one. Two, the person you mentioned here, that's Mbalo. Okay, Mune they are launching an investigation. What powers do they have to launch an investigation?
Is he not the chairman?
No, wait, was. Okay. The time a decision was taken, he was not the chairman anymore because he has walked away and said he's withdrawn. So as far as we're concerned, he holds no moral authority to scrutinize, question, or do anything, or validate or invalidate a process that you had chickened out of. You don't hold those powers. It's the people that are involved, the people who were in that room at the time. Those are the ones that hold the power, the mandate, and the moral authority to validate or invalidate.
You don't consider him as the chairman now?
But he was not. At the time the decision was taken, he was not the chairman at the time. So we need to put that out there very clear.
Officially,
do you guys appoint him?
What?
Appointment was given as the chairman?
A letter was not given like to say you will come. Okay, let me tell you. Mbalo initially, the first day Mbalo, because man nekuma for one that day. Okay. But Nifa Nekon explaining Mbalo came as a third person to APP Sobeya.
A third person?
A third person, a third rep to APP Sobeya. But on that day, I am told it was Uncle Usain Odabo who was in the room that questioned that. Because Mbalo was introduced as APP Sobeya in the room. And then the next minute, Mbalo was told to assume the responsibility as a mediator. And I'm told Uncle Usain Odabo questioned that. But what Mbalo said was, I have resigned from APP Sobeya.
UDP leader questioned that?
Yes. He was in the room, I am told. So you see the double standard here. But anyway, he assumed the role. And he was doing it.
Are you suggesting that Mbalo is speaking on behalf of APP?
I am not saying that, but I'm just trying to build a foundation what has happened. I'm just trying to tell you. I'm not speaking to even you. We're speaking to the people. ñoo xam ne man believe naa ne am nañ xel dañoo xalaat and mun nañoo connect the dots to understand the media tour and rampage the person is doing. That as a professional, you walked out of a process. You do not hold any substantial evidence in your hands right now to sit and authoritatively say, this is what has happened and these are the evidences. You present it to the Gambians to look at it and make a judgment. You do not have that at this point in time. But you're running from one media house to another, spewing whatever you think or you have in your mind, and you cannot substantiate it.
Finally, si coalition bi gis nañ ne finally everything has been done and dusted. But then people are saying your supporters are not happy because the name of the coalition, Legi Bena Party Kese Mofaneka, a registered political
Which
party.
supporters?
People are saying your supporters, Unite supporters are not happy right now. Some of them are not happy because Turi coalition bi is weakened. Esa fal nekut fa. So fa nekon dafa jox tur bi doole, but esa nekatut fa. Unite is the only registered political party, and this CSOs ñu fa neka tur yu ñi ni gis and the movements, people are saying even those people cannot even mobilize 10 or 20 people. How are you going to address this?
Okay. It wouldn't be nice and very disingenuous of anybody to trivialize, you know, or look at the people that are there as people who cannot add any value, right? Because again, the same people, nyode agiune, politics is a game of numbers. Okay? The reason why in the first place, we're trying to build a coalition, why? To build on each other, to build on each other's gains, to make it a more formidable force to go head and head with Adama Barrow. Otherwise, why are we forming a coalition? Again, Unite was not the architect of this coalition. It was ADD. You understand? Who, again, had told us openly that these efforts are to build a force to support the UDP under the leadership of Uncle Usenu Dabo. And this is the architect of the coalition that said that. Okay? So anyway, people just be like, okay, at the end of the day, if we are all in the room, you don't hold our independence, you cannot tell us what to do, everything will be decided there. But this was already the objective from the onset. Okay? So if ADDs believe that the political parties that were invited in the first place could do the job, we would never have been there. And those other movements would never have been there. Okay? So they believe they have called up, people have turned in, and what they have in the room will not be able to do the job that needs to be done. They invited more people. So you cannot do that and yet still turn around and say, you guys don't bring anything to the table. I was minding my business when you called me and say, come, whatever you may have, because none of us at this point in time can authoritatively give you figures to say this is our support base. You understand? We've seen surveys that will present results, you understand, projections of what they think would happen based on surveys that they've done. Some are similar, some are not similar. But these are surveys, and these are perception surveys. These are people's viewpoint. These are people's opinion. These are people's beliefs. So why will anybody sit and look at CD and say, oh yeah, your name is CD, but you have nothing on you. You carry no weight.
Okay. Do you believe, if elections are to be held today, this current coalition, without any addition right now, because Talib, si Waham, Wahnane, they are calling on other opposition parties for them to come and join this coalition. But let's assume lolu happen. Will this coalition defeat Barrow if elections are to held today?
Now, the leader of the coalition, who is Talib Ahmed Bensouda, track record nekut lu nobu. Daf ne fanga jaru jixat. Parce que lum liggéey la ñepp xam nañ mom moy kan ak lum fi def. Okay? So de nit ñi olu nañ ko bi jital ko as leader bi. Li jikoom ak nim dee liggéeyee ak nim dee jëfee mooy bennoo ak oote ñu bokka loolu la dee oote ak lu mun a am yépp moom position am li moo nekk mooy nañ leen waxtaan suñ waxtaanee dinañ déggoo you understand even su dee duñ déggoo sax dañoo tàggatoo waaye nañ tàggatoo moo rafet ba xam ne ëllëg ak si biir mun nañoo amaat soxla boo xam ne moo ñëw indiwaat moom loolu mooy waxam loolu mooy jooyam loolu mooy loolu lay digal so noonu la mun a waxee tànkaa kilifa boo xam ne da nga bëgg a boole ñëpp noonu la mun a waxee and to be honest man believe naa ne miin na ko believe naa ne ci tànka yooyu la nekka te waxu ko rek mu ngi ko jëfee parce que fu mu mun a duga pour ñu ñëw mu ngi leen di ku mun a waxal pour wax ko ne ñëw leen mu ngi leen di wax loolu noonu ku mun a yónnee ne ko demal indi diw mu ngi yónnee pour ñu indi yëpp pour ñu bennoo pour ñu bokka pour mun a def liggéey bi parce que ni ñu ko waxee mbooloo mooy doole however askan bi lañ bugg a mooy bokkaleen te askan bi ñu ne bokkaleen ngeen def liggéey bi ñu ngi xool kan moo ñëw pour bokka ngir njëriñi askan bi ak kan moo ñëw pour bokka ngir dooleel boppam ak fi mu bokk ak li mu bugga askan bi nga xam ne ñoo ñu sant liggéey bi ñoom gis nañ ñu ngi xam coalition 2016 nag fi ñu toll nii ni ma leen ko waxee ci liggéey lañ jublu lañ dugga ci liggéey lañ dugga until December 4th képp koo xam ne gëm nga coalition 2026 bi boo ñëwee ne dama bëgg a bokka loxo yaa ngi ubbeeku dañ laa boole parce que December 5th lañ soxla mooy ñu génne Adama Barrow te loolu mooy suñ jubluwaay loolu mooy suñ liggéey ñun lu ñu soxal fu mu nekk nii mooy li askan bi di jànkuwanteel lii seeni jafe-jafe yi mooy dund bu cher bi mooy insécurité bi mooy lopitaan yu amul garab yi mooy nit ñi nga xam ne seen li ñoo am seen koom-koom mënu leen a dundal ba dañoo dem di def ay njuuj njaaj yoo xam ne méngoowut ak liñ gëm oo diine santu leen ko ñun loolu moo ñu soxal fu mu nekk nii suñ liggéey ci loolu la képp koo xam ne nag yow da nga jógoon pour sa boppa man bi yàlla defee li nga ne man amuloo ko nga mer bugg a yàqa nga mer bugg a xojamal suuf gi loolu dañ laa bàyyee yow ak sa conscience te bàyyi laa yàlla parce que yàlla du faralal kuy yàqa loolu ñun gom nañ loolu noonu at the end of the day li maa bugg a wax nit ñi mooy Talib Ahmed Bensouda dafa liggéey ba raw ñu bari soo wax yaxalu ko.
Thank you. Mane?
Te nga question fulale soto nene.
Quickly, yeah.
Coming down from Yamin, tolu kai bio kai de. Nga nene wedi am jama kele jam.
You guys set a trap on me. I wasn't supposed to sit. I wanted to sit here.
Yeah. So nene, thank God ite fongo be numul ko milialon ko ikatara fenko nyinto bake coalition discussion ko. So lafla million na wale mo yalo nga 2016 coalition of Fojane omo independent led. That means Adama Barrow ngalon ne ko at one point about a UDP kon la lota fonga. So atola nyundu, was there at any point general bitala consensus la or election these individuals milialon ko ila flag bearer sipnin ibota outside their parties to come and stand as independent so that they will lobby on the independent ground or they were lobbying under the party's placard? Because being Mile Fokanjang, APP Sobea, Unite, and then the Yafas Milialon Koibota movement. But we are not talking about these two individuals, Esa and Talib, as independent candidates, Milialon Ko, Mulnataka Katre File, or they were lobbying, they were discussing around their independency than the political party. Because no one them, tomorrow, Minamina Fola, Majera Komi, this was a party led, until a mirror road, scientific. Because Ninu Molma resigned in a party, but the negotiation of a consensus sort ngalo ne Talib belonta dlamint ngalo Esa belonta dlamint so lefla lon nele fo aliye wo kol boni nyotol bang can we call this independent led or a party led itele jero that is one. But two, you've also discussed about the framework which I mentioned earlier, that there is a power sharing framework mimbe nunje far more closely activate by that power sharing framework so that you know nimpatil mini movement or mil bj minimum stake when you guys come into governance. So these are the two questions.
Okay, so there's a fundamental issue being from the onset. Like I said, whether it's an oversight or it was deliberate. But one thing was laid out, that the objective was to bring people together, build a force that is going to rally behind UDP and Ousainou Darboe. So as such, possibly they had oversighted that particular area, because the mindset was, at the end of the day, it was going to be a party-led. Okay? So that part, I think, there was a fundamental issue that all those things were not laid out from the onset as to everybody, when you come, you're coming to play with what rules. Okay? So that was not there. Now, the independent-led, candidate-led, we all understand, like you say, the sample, understand, being used in 2016.
Yes.
The leader, after being selected, would subsequently resign.
Yeah.
Okay? These were part of framework that we were building, but that we didn't even reach there, you understand, when all this brouhaha, the UDP leaving, you know, the ADD going, and the people that called for the coalition, they were supposed to lead in everything else. And they equally chickened out because what they wanted did not happen. But this particular coalition that is there, the framework building is still ongoing. The direction is still as we had voted in that room, and when we get to the bridge, we will cross it. But the right thing will be done because the people that are there brief in the process, and they're all aware of what needs to be done.
So it's not 100% confirmed that it's a party-led or independent-led?
No, it's a candidate-led. That has been voted for
It's a
long time ago.
Okay.
At a time that everybody was there.
But what is the difference of these two candidate-led, 2016, 2026? Because the processes are the differences. The process is this one resigned from the party, lobbied, you know, and then becomes the flag bearer.
No. The person did not resign. The person resigned after the person was selected.
Yes.
When Adamabaro was presented as a UDP candidate. So it was after they went to primaries and everything else,
Yes.
the UDP won.
Yes.
That was when now
Yes.
that framework that they agreed
Yes.
and either signed or did not sign, because still I haven't seen a signed document,
Yeah.
but some are saying it was signed. I don't know. It was implemented. So it wasn't prior to the process. It took processes for them to reach there.
Yes, so this is what I'm saying. Is that the framework? Because now there is no leadership. The chairman is not there. We have not seen the secretary. The deputy chairman is not there. Is there a framework that we're going to consider this?
We have already selected our candidate. Why do you need the leadership there?
So we don't need to know whether it's a party-led or...
No, I've told you. It is a candidate-led.
But what will qualify it to be a candidate-led?
What do you mean?
Because you said after election, Barrow resigned. Would we see Talib resign from Unite to become candidate-led?
My friend, your people were in this process until they left.
Yeah.
They're very au fait with what had to happen and what would happen and what were going to happen at any point in time.
Yeah.
You understand? We have an activity calendar, and we will follow that activity calendar to the latter until we get to elections. And we are on course to do the needful as the agreement that has happened there.
Okay.
But then what about the power sharing clause?
What power sharing?
That
There is a power sharing, but of course not the one introduced by the UDP.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Because that was outright favorable to UDP, and it was biased against everybody else that was in there.
But then
So that was not adopted a long time ago. So we're not even talking about that because it wasn't favorable for
How is the
people.
public not informed as to the power sharing of the current coalition that is led by Talib Ahmed Bensouda? Because the reason why ESA
Because
left,
that has not been adopted.
the reason why ESA left is about power sharing.
No. ESA did not leave about power sharing. ESA left because ESA wanted him to be guaranteed he will become the vice president.
Yes, that's
Bingo,
power.
nothing else.
That is the
ESA
power.
never talked about. No, but how can you share? How can you have several entities? You share power with only one entity.
This is
Like,
why I said we need to know what are the powers allocation.
But the people that are there know it, and ESA knows who were there.
So
ESA knows it.
So APP was allocated chances.
There was no allocation at the time. No allocation was done. There was no allocation. We have an activity calendar which your party adopted, agreed to, and we are following that activity calendar and enforcing or implementing as per the activity calendar,
Okay.
which we all agreed to. So where we were as at last Saturday the 8th was to select a leader. And then subsequently other things will follow as per the agreement of everybody. So you cannot jump the horse because an entity feels that at this point in time things are not favorable to me.
Okay.
Let's be fair to each other.
So now
Whether you see it as right or not, it was agreed by everybody else, including your party.
So are we seeing this coalition processes meeting again maybe every Saturday to make sure that they exhaust these processes of it is going to be independently Talib resigning or power sharing? Are we going to continue seeing it?
Well, we have an activity calendar which we will follow through. Whether the meetings are going to be Saturday, whether they're going to be Sunday or Monday, a weekly meeting will be happening because it was agreed and a timeline was drawn.
Okay.
And everybody that is a part of it agreed to it, and we will follow that to get to where we need to get to.
Okay.
Talibu?
Yalo membiji coalition ñing na dada nya kabri yalo menel flo nyanta diam la nun tel ngana diam barani say abirara julo dum bala julo
babula julo
be kili yo ngala kumol lam moy le jang adum ben karal lam moy yala kumo moy del men fana be sirin jang ala kumo moy le satar nyantati o mari nul fananti je men be lam moy rola Mr. Mbalo ila nya fonko woti jang ne bi jang tel do tije malam fo ngamra fo te journalist on bi yo ila kuma sata nyalo tel fana na political experience ngam men soro je wala nyindi ko ñi te kambe no la ka president Adama Barrow bondi ata keno la because ini ngani yo manna men si banko doku ini ngani yo nata nyame wala nyindi ko ka palaso soto ka palaso nyini ka tarwo palaso to bar banko doku o menati ni wote pour ka ñing ko ale sono form is very simple asatare fitna te kala fo fendinde kala bare comme ngam même foye ni be fen bondi la fen men kuliyata wala ka bondi say be da daro ke kam fen kulimal wol be silo mu dayta
e ba fo kan ni fofule ken son be lore
ngata GDC UDP wol fundita damen ka kuliyata pour ka mansa kew bondi ñin la mu patiote ndel ci hanin danku men la bar ñin dol hani ite mo pallindino la because ite UDP pallindino la enale ika ite GDC pallindino la enale ika patiol men ya lon ka foko ibita kan me say d'accord ta ina na mallo election la jang assez parti pour ka election o win like UDP like GDC like Isafal ya understand so ñin labu lantim fulo la bebulu labu lantim na fulo la mun ya tuje baye fa ya kosi baye fa
luy lolu
he malam bo fula suba kawdo
dimale len ma ko buga na understand bobu
abugo ko tandam iko ni ya kosi say ay dina de
so ko
kosi tamit ibama be falale
okay
yalo jakalo na rasila
okay nga tega mu de tegulo mu de
ba
okay
so say wo jakalo wala muy ila ñing coalition
okay
ya understand bari ngala kumo kono moy yalo experience ko mata ko nen kono ako fatmata tambajang kaye ko ye ko alin soddo manding nga mobe kafnyoma on board bari tel ko imam bala wala le bari ila process ni me bita kan ibo continent lale wala mu ita fo manora yaje ke bala anana ko nyinkele ay kulle cross ndela jero fe fatumata e kulle cross nol manketa je ko nyintita no image forlal ba fo kan tete jede bar forlal ba fo kay ko afanan kontane ro mambuje
kankularo mankanya
e ko kontane ro mambuje men found lafta kafla nyoma wol fanan kontane ro mambuje ya understand so ñine antande ko experience ñing o kumata ko ñing kono baake mo nana e fe men dada itana na ma dada bar min do yaade dal ñing koy ko mo be dundije because ku do la tambita 2016
ila miraro to e ba fo kanne ko former vice president ajela ko kafoni lamfutal
yes of course because ni be coalition ko be sitting president incumbent ila ftolo boyndila andu al left political party ole kafu nyoma ale campagne ko mo kana mo sabotage al be al nyatli mo mansa kundala my friend hande mem ma fu moy ko bi ndata la jang ni masu membe fixe ni camera o dati je may ko fanan soronta mo be bon lamin tol kumo de fundino la mena be sila jande nyakatar nyola dro bare kumo de fund la moli amoy so kwale sono nyim faran a fota UDP koma a fota mama kande koma e sa fali ya dabo je wallahi to balalam dro barata kenula coalition timarum timme alon ka foko molsi nya dum wala wala molsi hammo so do mbar nga kafima nga carte o fay nga mansa boyende adu mansa fana nyim faran mansila because already parti baba bulule même APRC parti ba do fana babulu mais alon ko jidi ci do modi mo men ka second tat soto tat in election wonata kafutema so adum o ñing coalition ko no mol nana lota ñing fonko ko ko coalition me alon ka foko UDP dati je atitano MC Cham abe UMC la nga awo fo li Bantaba to jam so technically o
are you saying ko wala be bayndi kam
wala be bayndi kam politiko kono silam ni obe lasta karo ke sai ye fansun lasta karo ke politiko la sembola ina na lota jang ya fo ko ni UDP mandar coalition men kono wotita no wodu moyte fam be je sai de parti do kono iba expect la be mol convince la nyaade le pour ka fo mole ko alal nyaati lintel already tila kuma kan way sole so political
Talibo, to be honest, at the time MC was saying that UDP was a solid piece. There was no breakout. There were no issues within the UDP.
Okay, sai.
MC bi mo wax lolu dara hewuton. So you need to factor that also.
Yalo mbetembo men to fana mbe ko mu kaw men fole. Atele moto kutole natal yalo dal mahani bori folo. Yalo manda folo. Janni ba folo tema fon folo fana be farsila Allah te olon ne ba. This is it. Politiko ni lasta karo bi jele. Wala lasta karo mende kan nomba sijibe a bol kono nomba bi jele. A bol kono fere fayo bi jele. A bol kono tamandiro bi jele. Ni be mo politiko kono lasta karo di. Par ma fula ne congratulations. Ni si même famu sinindi. Amam bina kala suma aussi. Mbe Gambia albe Gambia jam. Barin si kuma kilim fo wala ñindi ko president Adama Barrow alto bendinal coalition without coalition president Adama Barrow yal sabale ay coalition o kidana tambitola a graduate to Islam ay alliance o ke a graduate to sa PhD modi la second alliance.
Thank you Talibo time about
Bala quickly
control kana jumalung kana agreement le sen
no problem which is good.
Atale fisale di do fisale ni leta be hani fisala fengata to do talibinol tal
mane ko tabe fisala
yo yalo membe je
yo ba ti wa mun prick to the point naka ko hate ki
atarle no mas bebulu ina na lota election la banko kan country wide ni data ni yafo hakilin tan ya ka fo bar talbi fanal lota KMC ay 80,000 people so je bara ayala bi parti woni kono abe parti wala kono yawna sa ani den dawo ko wala le kaje ko nga nyo fasa mo 80,000 no so to KMC bar silam fo nyine batinan la ka fo ko 80,000 hani sai talbe ni wo 80,000 baby tala UDP wa UMC.
Wari kijo ilital lulem. Eti wo buita.
Yo 50
just leave it. I didn't want to love it. So you didn't have to correct that.
So yalo sign the moment sign. Wo it will pretty cool.
kijo le fara
I know right? Ndale filita. Yalo me condamn him back. Because même ni antan di Gambia ko la he ni te ken wala kankilin ni mandale fa be kan Gambia ko le ni ni man sa kunda surun billahi halin la minister tala mi sapla ibe sapla ñu.
Thank you. Now you can come in quickly. Time
you know I just wanted to, it just occurred in my mind one thing, because Lamin has mentioned it here. So there's this statement that ESA made and looked like, okay, the UDP are even better than Unite because they had made their position clear, you know, and Unite are saying that, like you had asked the question, comme ne talib dafne man la sudut man du nek kenen parce que man dama liggéey 3 years ak yoy non and all that. But the double standard here, and speaking from both sides of his mouth, I mean ESA, and respectfully, if you sitting live on television to say ne, you will not join the UDP because UDP wants coronation. You don't want coronation. Okay? We're not even asking for coronation. Let's say what you are saying is what is true. Okay? Linga wax lolu degala ne talib ne budut mom du kenen. Why talib waxut ne coronation? Because when you coronate somebody, koku gene ko fofu nonu munta nek dafa nek a generational thing. Koku su gene sa domam moy ñew. Su koku gene domam moy ñew. Su koku gene domam moy ñew. So you have zero chance of even breaking into that. Okay? So why would you believe ne the coronation that you never wanted is better than somebody is saying just me, and it's the people that are going to elect you, and when those people choose to remove you, right, they will remove you. But a coronation is not like anybody can come and say Bogatuma la Gine. So for man, I find that to be a double standard. Now, the dishonesty of Mr. Mbalo, you were part of a process till the last minute. You believed in it. You advocated for it. In the afternoon, when ñoom dañ am seen own meeting ak maire bi, I was not there. Okay? ñoom la de mediate Assane Martin ay yooyu noonu. Maire bi proposed to them ne, understand nga, nañ leen naka lañ ko xatee waaw post affaire bi because waxoon na ko Tuesday and maire bi was advocating for that. Man fekkewu ma seen meeting bi. It was the same Mbalo that came to me and said maire bi mu ngi push de mu ne nañ ko forma waaye ñun duñu forma dara nañ leen dem buñ duggee foofu noonu bañ leen and Prof went to other people to tell them ne suñ duggee foofu wax leen maire bi ne duñ ko def. To tell you the dishonesty.
He was doing that.
Huh?
He was doing that.
I'm telling you, he came to me. I'm not saying that somebody said to me. He came to me and said, this meeting that we just had during lunch, this is what the former vice president was proposing and advocating and asked us to do. So I'm coming to give you guys heads up so that soon you can counter that. And that's Mr. Mbalo that was doing that.
Okay.
The same Mr. Mbalo that is parading, Jonathan, having this media campaign thinking mom I'm not the capacity to attack, you understand, the image of Unite and the character of Talib Ahmed Bensouda is the same Mr. Mbalo who is talking about inducement, right? So on. Why the same Mr. Mbalo forgot, understand, mom, understand, demanded for certain things, which I was the one that outright say we will not subscribe to such. Understand nga te dama bëgg man hangal su fi nekkoon tey dama ko wax.
No, but you can say it.
Did it am na xëy na dina am opportunity pour toog a moom because su ma ko waxee léegi ne man ko make opportunity pour mu dem prepare ba pare. dama bëggoon a toog a moom. So moom dama laa jéem a wax rek the kind of person kii run around pour def a propaganda pour try to naka turn people's mind against a process boo xam ne he was a part of and believed in and subscribed and advocated till the last minute. And I wish he was here and question bi Lamin wax all along Mr. Mbalo Hamda don't go on. All along Mr. Mbalo Hamda the position of APP Sobea because he was informed and he was called on the phone by Esa to be told that before Esa showed up. And mom and you Esa called na ma léegi nii. Okay, so léegi moom su nekkee the same Mr. Mbalo moo nekk di dem di wóor loolu noonu understand nga who are you so li ma try pour foofu noonu dafa lack the credibility the standing the moral authority to speak about this issue.
All right, Talibo
quickly because yala tele mun na lu down the jam ando kuol man kentel nyala kira itel le nyala je ala kumo kono nga moya ko isa e texo ki fenke ato dum professeur yafa fate fa nya waje ando isa e dispute be kere pro kanyin ko lankene mi mayande fo aman necessary aliyo print out aliyo ke cdr koti atella side la kilim fula njam mol fanan ka foko comme UDP tata election la wo mu caractérial dolte pro ke tambinde atel fanan tata KMC la kono talbe carte fawo kije ay nomba men soro mo jama kanyine compare ka talbe qualify ndi ka sama bari diamol kono num nin tata political history la sie kumaron ani oda dibitol men bota UDP bala wotumo talbe be UDP kono biri bota je tumo men advocacy men ka ke je wolom nyindi ko UDP le al sindi bari bal bond la and that what happened so yamira ko kumo nyim fanan ate bulala talbe no mama
ning ko talib amra le contest la ko tege ba
ibe men pour kabula no presidential
election yes
ni nga futaje maju bele yalla wo be molle bulu woman tara ite bulu woman tara inte bulu woman tara talib bulu because talib molle ya sende so a tota wo mol bulu pour ya bondi wala ye carte fayaye
okay
ni futaje mol ba lon na le ko min ko itolle ya sindi yena san mbaje la fo Italy ya nole pour ka bondi ando December 5 ma
president Barrow fana no ma
thank you so much
president Barrow
thank you so much Talibo thank you so much
ani nga futa je wato me
thank you so much Talibo thank you so much baraka bake lamin mane ngamobe tentu bake ngamobe jaymen yalon ko wollela wato ta kadi grand bantaba programme ka jube nyin tembe na ko nga fu nyamen ton ma yorombalo nyanta kala mo nyin tawonti alongside nene bari akamunta atema show of jang nyin programme la ka programme da dula to nga fole num afelem be programme kumfa kan among show up and he has given ala availability I confirming yele even prior to the program and in program lungo fon jani program kadati hours before the program nga commandele no I confirm kamina jani wato be sila but then program of few minutes jana kadati drong professor Mbalo nga call they are call ala number floor be ro abukana call chika we use another number amo fanan chika so
no other number chika
yeah ayo fanan chika
other number chika exactly
so man na kuma
ko kono le nimpareta
ko nyembe fele nimpareta mina but
exactly
program of felenting abanta he did not show up so woto kayita di jama la abela
it just show prof cannot defend the allegations
nga mobe tento bake nga mobe
because you can say that behind me but I'm sitting right here and you don't want to come hello
jube nyen tembe namba fele ya barka bake ma wala of course APS ani gamtel nyebe tento bake nye jay hani kabi kamfati atele na bayo karamba fala fana ya barka bake alama suto to diala wasalam
ñatim bon temu APS leti ndemu APS leti APS Gambia le mu APS di katum APS is 100% Gambian
bari ñatim moy te ku furi mbala kentala di ke ñatim bon tari taba futu wola at least ya fonte ko APS min kullo balbi ji imo fon fonya fon ka fonyo ko ibina do ibodo ko APS jam fane mo fana fonya ñatim bo yo min fo enta sija ndanga moy ko APS wallet isa ko do kino min tata fa wuli muan ime caaji fenna wala nta sindi ja
ako ñatim bo ngoy ko kabo transuto kata wala fa wuli muan ite fenne dola womu zero file bitun kabo wo 20,000 la ka sele sal ike tamuna ike caaji na fa abuka fensi 1% da malam lati
wota yara gamen no be nyanta wala kana APS wala tele mobile ko ko do ki ibadi ngol
yajale ni APS kabrin nan credit ko to bari min kun mayata be wala fa mo kas pawat ni suto be during suto be dibining abe tema biti kol sonda ila APS mobile lo sika ni asika to ya safe da men ko fen ko atondi nawek ha ni oto je nyamen do tachi ama ni ama do abanta ila kas power isa hawasima ajibe free joriti je
wata mbaden gameno albe sito wulle fisiyata alna leta APS wallet yela lam baylo kon APS wallet nyaata doro barin koto nim fata do so kon to
ni be fono le mol nyaala jam nim fata do so kon ba fole
basiti je mbita ndo register je de kadu sa APS 100% namundi
APS 100%
APS
Gambia 100%.
Looking for the perfect home away from home in the Gambia? Welcome to BC's Residence, your ideal short-stay apartment in the heart of Bundung. Whether you're visiting for business, pleasure, or an extended stay, BC's Residence offers you the comfort, convenience, and privacy you deserve. Enjoy spacious, well-appointed accommodations in a peaceful neighborhood just behind Nusrat High School. Our residence combines modern amenities with authentic Gambian hospitality, ensuring your stay is both comfortable and memorable. At BC's Residence, you are not just booking a room, you're finding your perfect base to explore all that the Gambia has to offer. Ready to book your stay? Contact us today. +220 941414 bcsresidence@gmail.com. BC's residence, Bundung, behind Nusrat High School. Your comfort is our priority.
In today's digital world, connectivity is the backbone of progress. Gamtel stands at the center of the Gambia's network, proudly known as the carrier of carriers. We power connectivity by supporting mobile operators, internet service providers, businesses, and homes with reliable, high-performance infrastructure. Through our dark fiber and fiber-leased line solutions, we provide dedicated, secure, and unlimited high-capacity connectivity, keeping networks stable and businesses running smoothly. Always on, always reliable. For organizations that demand performance, Gamtel delivers unlimited, scalable solutions designed for speed, security, and efficiency, supporting everything from daily operations to critical data transfer. We are also connecting homes and small businesses across the country. With our unlimited broadband services, G-Fiber and ADSL2+, we provide fast, reliable, and affordable internet for browsing, streaming, and working online without interruption. In today's flexible work environment, our VPN services allow teams to connect securely from anywhere, enabling seamless collaboration and productivity at all times. Supporting it all is our private cloud data center, offering secure, reliable, and scalable data storage for the growing digital needs of the Gambia. With nationwide coverage, dedicated support, and trusted infrastructure, Gamtel is connecting people, businesses, and networks across the country. Gamtel, creating a brighter future in communication. Call 1311 toll-free or 422-9979 or visit www.gamtel.gm to get connected.